That is correct. That is what's up, tubes.
That's what's up, tubes.
That's what's up. Or that, my dude, is most definitely what is up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, most people don't have the time for that one. Classic lol cow lore I'm bringing to my own show.
Yep.
I've got a show planned, not planned, it's like a very distant idea, but I want to get Decon on to take him through some lol cow lore. Oh, there's Decon right now, so maybe I'll run up your flagpole. So what I'm thinking, Decon, is there's a bunch of really great music and art around lolcows, and I know the lolcows are something you maybe want to look into. Okay, so here you go. Here for a minute. There's a channel out there. I don't want to tip my hand, but I want to take you through some of their art regarding King Cobra JFS. I've got a name picked out and everything for the episode. It'll be great. Trust me. We just have to put it all together. And it will work, believe you me, because who's going to stop me? No one. I'm my own free bitch. I heard that somewhere. It's true to this day. But yeah, tonight is McDaniels. So keep this in mind, gentle viewer. If I'll remind you as we go along, but it's 2 hours of raw footage that I'm like, we're probably going to get through conservatively 18 minutes. If we break 18 minutes, I'll consider the show a success. In under 3 hours. There's the caveat. In under 3 hours.
3 hours is a long time.
I know, but our shows usually spread like the plague.
It's true.
Or like some sort of, like maybe the most pertinent pop cultural reference is that big blob at the end of Akira. Just sort of this spreading mass, or for those nerds out there, like a Shoggoth, a never-shifting plasma from beyond the stars.
18 minutes.
Anyway, what did I say? What was I saying? Anyway, moral of the story is, since this is 2 hours, I'll if you guys want to, and if we're having enough fun, because it is a real blast. I love Southern Interrogations. And this one comes to us from Macon, Georgia. If you guys want to do another episode, I'd be willing to stretch it into a two-parter, but 3, like, beyond 2 is too much. Like, Sarah Boone was a special case, but if we want to, like, hit more Stiven and keep asking ourselves why.
Stiven. Why?
Why, Stiven? You don't clean your apartment for a week, Stiven? Look at your hair.
I always, like, 3 hours in my head from growing up, it was always 3 hours. That's the length of a Titanic movie. It was always like the thing in my head, like, oh, it's just 3 hours. It's just the Titanic movie.
Yeah.
Back when movies weren't 3 hours long.
Right. I think everybody our age and older probably is similar, because like if you grew up during TV, you go, okay, it's no more than like a Simpsons 1 hour special plus a rerun afterwards or whatever. I always did the Simpsons, so I would say, it's no more than 3 Simpsons episodes. I can handle this or whatever.
When I would go on, like when I would fly here when I was young.
It's just Titanic 2 times.
Yeah, it was 1.5 or
to sink twice.
It was almost 2 Titanics, or like a Titanic and some other
James Cameron
movie.
for giving us these measurements of time.
Yes.
It takes more than 3 hours if you watch on VHS. Well, who's going to do that?
Right.
Yeah, it takes 45 minutes to rewind it. Unless you got one of those cool Ferrari rewinding devices. Like how... Like, there's nothing to liken it to anymore. Like, physical media was so crazy. Like, to have a dedicated machine to just roll back the physical media in a cartridge.
Yep.
Like, it was so decadent.
And like, we had to rewind it right after the movie ended. Like, it was like a thing. You had to take the movie out and then put it right in the thing.
You're going to put it back, like, totally fuck the next person. Like, you're going to hit play. It's going to be the credits, and you're going to do the clunk when the tape runs out. Yeah, the Batmobile Rewinder is a nice one. I got to live out this dream when corded phones were still a thing. I got the hot rod, or maybe not the hot rod, but like the classic car looking phones. that they used to sell at Spencer's.
Oh, yeah.
So like they, the front looked like a phone, but it had a nice big ass on it of like a 50-something Oldsmobile or whatever. And
I didn't get anything fancy like that.
the lights blinked. Oh, I saved up. Like I didn't have like my own line in my room, but I was able to get a phone. And I was like, yeah, of course. This is like Trump's cordless.
I didn't have my own line either, but my parents always just got like the 3-pack of cordless phones, and it was just in my room on my desk.
I don't know. Like, it's so weird now because now I don't even think about how many hertz, megahertz, kilohertz, gigahertz, something, in this day and age is. Because, like, the frequency is so high, it's insane. But, like, my first, like, cordless phone that I bought with my own money, like, at a Radio Shack, had a switch between 400 and 800 megahertz. And it was it was like talking to someone on like a World War II era field phone. Like the 800 was slightly better than the 4, but like now we live in a day where like 2.4 gigahertz is like the standard. And we're talking 800 megahertz.
I still don't know any
Orders
of that.
of magnitude. Like if I were to say, here's $100, you'd go great. But little did you know, like there was someone right behind them going like, I'll give you $1 billion. Like 800 megahertz is like pathetic.
Oh.
It's like walkie-talkie type bullshit. Like everything is so high bandwidth now because like, digital can get pushed so far, but like 800 megahertz. Stupid it was.
Back in the 50s. It's been 7 minutes.
All right, let me get everything ready here, and we'll start the show.
This episode of FFOP Radio is brought to you by the Bathroom Cougar. Does this happen to you?
Someone's in here. Someone's in here.
With the Bathroom Cougar, scare off any would-be embarrassment before it has a chance to happen.
Oh, shit. I gotta get out of here.
The Bathroom Cougar, available at Best Buy and all fine retailers.
You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the
Welcome to the show. My name is Dave, and this is FFOP Radio /TV or whatever. You know what we're doing. It's Lingo Friday, which means it's that time again. We're doing another classic interrogation breakdown. Could not be more excited for this one, the Stephen McDaniels one. So let's unpack the case a little bit, and then we'll go to a commercial break from a good friend of mine. So, Stephen McDaniels, for those uninitiated. Oh, by the way, Chris is here also acting as producer off screen. I always forget.
That's okay. Everybody knows I'm usually here.
Yeah, but
except for when I'm not.
I need to remember how to start a show. It always just escapes me.
So, Stephen
McDaniels. So this takes place in Georgia.
Macon,
Georgia. Stephen and Lauren Giddings were going and getting their law degrees. And like, yikes. To set the stage a little bit, Stephen was like stalking her. He lifted a master key from his super and got it copied. So he was sneaking into her apartment at night and like stealing underwear and moving stuff around. Speaking of underwear, I hope we get to it. If we don't, I'll spoil it later. But yeah, moral of the story is he was going in and fucking with Lauren's apartment and also videotaping her through the blinds. Like that creepy sort of, like that has become cliche. Like if you're going to be a weird, like dangerous style sex pervert, you've got to videotape somebody on a camcorder through their window.
So he was like in his apartment?
No, he was like
outside.
They lived in the same apartment complex, but he would like basically hide in her bushes or wherever the...
Nice.
Yikes.
My underwear is missing too, says Deacon. Uh-oh.
Oh God. Well, if someone, I hope no one like Steven did what he did to Lawrence. Okay. Also, so he's also an apocalypse dude. He's like saving lots of stuff. A strong trait for like apocalypse or doomers is like the collecting of Bud K style samurai swords and knives, which he has a lot of. We'll get into it with the interrogation because, they had to, after he started acting wiggy, they had to search his apartment and shit. And like most of these types of cases, his are we talking about me? Maybe you were getting stalked by Steven too. I don't know where you were circa 2011, but
I think he's referring to the Bud K collection.
Oh,
samurai
Deacon,
swords.
you're better than Bud K. Let's be real. Come on. Like, you're not a fucking high school student, like, running up to me in between periods to be like, check it out, 420 stainless steel. Like, come on. You're not that guy. But, yeah, so he was a weirdo. He was a sex pervert. Probably, I think he was a virgin. And the way they got him on all of this, because, so the footage we're going to watch, and maybe this was a fever dream and it doesn't exist, but the footage we're going to watch is him being a dead-eyed zombie for 2 hours. But what happened before this, and I hope I'm not making this up, he was interacting with them just like a normal human would. Something
triggered him to just shut down.
Yeah, there's footage out there where he is acting like a normal person, talking normally to the detective we are going to see enter the footage immediately here. And it's just like a zombie switch got flipped in his brain. Something told him to like fight, flight, freeze, or fucking zombie himself. And he decides to go zombie.
Wow.
Bro, no.
Stop the show. We're talking about Deacon. Sorry, Deacon.
He's cashing in his V card. It's pristine in his wallet as I got it laminated. So that's it. But like I said before, we're going to be doing a little commercial break. I'm going to pull in the TV here. This is Deacon's Defense Minute, so please enjoy.
Everybody has that drunk uncle. Whenever he goes over there to give you one of those drunk hugs, remember to always go underneath him, chop him right in the chin, and then bring him down very, very slowly, and then tell him how over the years he's always been your uncle that you didn't like that much. And then make sure that he's completely out, and then walk away and pretend like you never saw him. Go play ball with your cousin. Everybody has that.
I think
Awesome.
You're Deacon. You're fucking like, I love dubs, like Djibouti dubs, and like there's a million people out there who dub shit. Your brand is one of the funniest I've seen out there. I love we'll get to them more. Like we'll go through more of these Deacon Defense Minutes, which are typically way less than a minute, but I still love it. We'll get to the Theo Vaughn and Ellen one.
He goes, that's horrible advice.
The drunk uncle. Oh my God. So yeah, I hope we're all in the know.
Look at his hair.
So no one can see him yet. Let me get him pulled up here.
Look at his hair.
Look at his hair. So you probably, or if you're familiar with this case, you've probably seen the news footage where, the body comes from, because he's out there being interviewed. And if we get to it, we'll get to it, but we'll probably not. But he'll talk about, you were talking up on the fucking news media. And he was too. Like he was like, I don't know, she probably went out running and she got grabbed. He's like, I'm so sad. And she was a nice girl. And it's just like this whole like, oh gee golly, how could this happen in a small town like Macon, Georgia? Until the reporter's like, do you know anything about the body they found? And you can almost feel his nuts hit the dirt. Like his stomach fell so hard they knocked his balls to the ground. And there's an audible thud in the recording. And he goes, body? Because they found the torso in the garbage bin. Because since the police showed up and quarantined off the area, they couldn't come pick up the trash.
Right.
And so he goes, body? I gotta sit down. And the lady behind the mic tells her cameraman to like keep fucking rolling because this dude's the murderer. She doesn't say that out loud, obviously.
Right.
But that's, oh jeez, because then he comes back and he goes, "Oh, I can do this," because he was studying to be a lawyer, so he was setting up an alibi.
Yeah.
You know, the door was locked. There was no forced entry. Nothing seemed out of place. I went in with her friends. Like there was tons of plausible deniability for his hair being there and everything else involved with it, right up until he shits his pants because they found a human torso that less than 12 hours before that was in a Coleman tent inside his apartment being hacked apart.
Ugh. Is that the main guy from Balls of Fury?
Oh yeah, look at him. Oh yeah, not Vince Vaughn, but he does have like kind of those dark eyes. Yeah, good call. All right, so buckle up, people. We're gonna start hearing. All right, brother. I love this dude.
All right, brother. All right, brother. All right.
Sounds
All
like
right, brother.
I just got to ask you a few more questions.
Get ready for what the internet loves most about this case. And he sits in the chair.
You came down earlier tonight. Me and you talked. All right. You don't have any weapons on you, do you?
No.
That's just you are. What's wrong? You know I'm Detective Patterson, right?
What's wrong with you,
remember?
sir?
Put your hands up here. You remember us talking
Yes.
earlier tonight, right?
Yes.
You remember me earlier in the day
Yes.
when we came down here and talked a little bit and then we left?
Yes.
Okay. I need to know about this girl right here. You know her?
Lord.
Who is that?
Lauren Giddings.
Does she live next door to you?
Poor Lauren, too. God damn it. Her alarm bells were ringing everywhere. Like, if you dig into this, like, she was talking to friends. She's like, something's not right. I'm gonna fucking die, essentially. But, you know, they were this far away from graduating and, you know, she was gonna be gone soon and yada, yada, yada. And, like, that's probably what spurred it. Is
Right.
like, it was now or never. So Steven finally snuck in the middle of the night when she was there. She awoke and wigged.
as one probably would do.
Yeah, as you would. And, you know, that's that. But, like, there's a million interrogations out there where, like, the Kevin Davis one where you're like, you know, you don't have to be like that to be as matter of fact about it. Like, it was now or never. Like, that when that switch flips.
Yeah.
Like when she saw, like she awoke and saw this monster standing at the edge of her bed, he knew, like, yep. And
This is it.
but at that point, he'd already bought probably the tent and the hacksaw.
I would imagine he probably had to have gotten everything.
Yes.
Guy looks like a Hot Topic Bob
When's
Ross.
the last
Oh
time you
yeah.
2 or 3 weeks ago.
I'm gonna paint some depressed little bushes.
seen her? Was you friends with Lauren?
Yes.
Look at me when you talk to me, son. Okay?
Do you think that he's doing this because he knows, like, trying to be like a pretend to be crazy?
Probably. There's a lot of speculation on this point, and like that whole like robotic head turn where he goes, "Ugh." Like you can say, was that an act? And again, there's a lot of speculation here because he is so weak-minded. He could be experiencing a psychiatric break because he's caught for murder,
Right.
and like he did horrible things to the body before and after.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of weird shit in his apartment. Crap, I forgot where I was going with that.
I don't know.
Whatever. It's crazy.
Was you friends with her?
Yes.
Close friends?
Oh yeah, sorry. The speculation on whether he's sincere or not. Because yeah, I believe that there is a strong case to be made that he is a weak-willed shut-in who is legitimately having a psychotic break because he murdered the one person he obsessed about utterly, and now is getting caught for their murder. But if that isn't the case, he is definitely like, I'm a lawyer. I'll just
Plead insanity.
Like, yeah, that's like the Australian lady who chopped up, prepared, and then tried to feed her ex-husband to her children at the time, and probably
good.
ate some too. Like, that was her like credo, was like, if you know, and with a crime like that, how can you say I was totally sane?
Right.
Like, you fixed 2 steak dinners for the man's children out of his own ass. Like, you're not going to be like, yeah, I was totally fine. Yeah, you were crazy. And here's Steven, like, they never found most of her body.
We were good.
I mean, y'all were friends, right? Both of
Yes.
y'all are law students. You're studying to be an attorney, right?
Yes.
What kind of law do you want to go into? Criminal law?
Yes.
Civil? Is that what you want to do for a living?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you almost finished?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't have too much more to do, right?
No.
All right. Are you going to stay here in Macon?
I don't know.
Did you used to work at the district attorney's office in Macon?
Yes.
Was you on?
So you're getting a little taste, like if you're in 31 Flavors, right? You say, well, let me have a taste of Steven. That's it. Like, what you got is a tiny pink spoonful of yes, no, I don't know. And that's the whole fucking dish you're about to eat.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, he sits like this like the entire time, too.
Yeah,
he does not move.
There are videos out there that show a time lapse, the whole 2 hours in like a 30-second video.
I think I remember.
Doesn't fucking move a muscle. Like, the resolve, that's what sort of leads, in my mind, credibility to the psychiatric break. Because like the resolve you would have like as a human to just physically remain motionless would require superhuman concentration.
Yeah.
Or there'd be something involved that I don't think Steven exhibits and or possesses.
Decon says he looks like he smells like pee.
Oh yeah, totally. Like
Yeah.
he's probably
like a stale urine
saving
smell.
jars of urine, eating nothing but like mac and cheese and hamburger helper, so it's like cooked into his hair.
Yeah.
Like when he went through his trial, he did several phases where like he's like this disgusting pile of garbage when he was being talked to, but then he like got a shave and put his hair back, and then he got a haircut, which made him look even skeezier somehow. Like his lawyer probably thought, "Hey, dude, get rid of the crazy long guy hair, and let's get you a professional cut. So when you stand up, remember you were going to be an attorney too. So when you stand up in front of the court, you look professional." And I'll be goddamned if he doesn't look fucking worse.
Decon said my midgets could find him anywhere.
Oh yeah, you just go fly, my minions, fly. But yeah, mac and cheese, like, and not even like the Kraft mac and cheese. It's like the Walmart brand where it's like, you know, there's nothing fun about it.
the great
Macaroni
value.
nor cheese is spelled fun. There's no characters. It's
Yeah.
just like, and it's not even macaroni and cheese because they don't want to get you fucked up and thinking it's Kraft. It says cheese sauce and macaroni
And pasta. Yeah.
Blech. That's Steven.
Prosecutor side or the defense side?
Prosecutor.
So you were on our side.
Yes.
Right. You never worked on the other
Funny
side.
story, Steven.
Yeah,
Did
guess
you like
what,
it when you were down there?
Yes.
I loved it.
Got
Can you
along with
imagine what's
everybody?
going on in this detective's
Yes.
head?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with him?
He already got spooked. Like, a lot of videos and people bring this up, but like when he says, "Look at me, son," he has that robotic like the detective in any situation where that happens wants to stare down his interrogation suspect and make them uncomfortable enough if they break eye contact first. But we saw it.
Yeah.
Like, he leaned into that chair. It screamed because Steven is so fucking spooky. I don't want to say that Fat Detective and later we'll meet him Red Shirt are bad interrogators, because they're not. Like, I've seen the Red Shirt dude in a few things, and he is a genuine talent.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Steven is the Rock of Gibraltar, and no matter what the skill, like a super soaker's not moving it.
Yeah.
And you lived next to Lauren for a long time?
Yes.
Did you ever kill
Do
her?
you know where she's at tonight?
No.
Hmm?
No.
Have you ever seen her with that dress on?
No.
You have no idea where she's at?
No.
Hold on, it's 2011. I got to check my fucking text.
Ding! Let me break this chair.
Just listen. What's up, Cat G?
Hey, Cat G.
But seriously, what you're hearing there is like any footage, like this footage right now, any footage that contains, or not footage, sorry, any channel that has this footage as a part of its catalog is nothing underneath it but chair comments. Like even the weirdness of Steven's hair, his demeanor, like the weird Wolverine mutton chops, like his skeletal arms that never move, nothing compared to the character arc and the triumph in that which the viewing audience is invested in this chair.
It's a good chair.
I don't know if it's good or not, but it definitely takes a beating.
It's one of those like squeaky chairs that is probably meant to annoy the suspect.
I don't think so. I think
it's just an old chair.
Yeah, he's just incredibly fat. The budget is low, and he's trying to kill this chair.
Oh, okay. My major didn't do that, but okay. All right. Bye.
Hey, Tony, welcome.
Hey, Tony.
Look, just tell me what happened, brother.
I don't know.
Well, where's she at? I need you. I'm asking you for your help.
We're friends, right?
I'm a detective.
Oh.
I'm asking you for your help.
My leg is real close to your
Okay?
hip.
I'm asking you for help. I need your help. Can you help me?
Please, dear God, Stephen.
You don't know if you can help me?
Oh, you think so? No, Lord Sister's mac and cheese probably has more
cheese.
Anything that is like anything. Can name the quality. I don't care what it is.
It's not powder.
I guarantee Lord Sister, even though he's a little homunculus himself, isn't like, you know what, he's worth 14 cents. Like, that's Walmart brand. There's probably chunks of hot dog in there. I don't care if they're ballpark. That kicks it up to a whole new level.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, when I was a kid, when you wanted to get fancy, you'd throw some real cheese on the top of that mac and cheese or some sliced up hot dog. Steven doesn't seem like the guy. He seems like if he were a sandwich, he'd be white bread, turkey mayo, white bread.
Kat G says he reminds me of that old cartoon, The Hair Bear Bunch.
That's insane.
Yes.
I need your help. Help me out. Tell me
what do you think his skin felt like? Do you think like the detective must have instantly regretted touching his shoulders? He's like, ah, because you know he's a detective and he's probably had to touch a corpse or two in his life, and he's like, ah.
This is that.
Steven probably feels like a body that they just found after 2 weeks of dereliction under a frozen river.
Mac and cheese with Italian meatballs is a game changer. Harry and the Hendersons, if the Bigfoot was a creep.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine John Lithgow dealing with a giant Stephen McDaniels?
Oh, my God.
Stephen! Like, he's not slipping into the neighbor's hot tub or, like, hitting her over the head or, like, getting hit on the foot with a newspaper. He, like, goes over there and savagely murders them, and John Lithgow's like, Stephen!
Your hair is there.
The hair was there,
Has
Stephen.
anybody asked you for help today?
Don Amici's there being like, a murder.
I'm asking you as a friend for help.
Ray Liotta's cheeks. Ugh. But that's his shoulder.
Can you help me?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You can't help a friend out?
I don't know what
You got a friend in me,
I know
Stephen.
where Lauren's at.
I don't know.
When's the last time you seen her?
2 or 3 weeks ago.
This is why I feel like this is an act, because, like, I understand, you know, people rehearsing the things in their heads, but, like, remembering 2 or 3 weeks ago. That's the second or third time he said that. 2 or 3 weeks ago. 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like he along with literally everybody else forgets one thing is like if you are not like fuck in this arena, like people like to fancy themselves hard asses or like him and his apocalyptic fantasies. I'm sure in his head, he's destroyed 1,000 wastelanders for trying to get at his hot ladies or his water or his gasoline. And like, you know, that sort of thing just becomes okay and fetishized. But like violent video games, violent movies, or angry music, the line between fantasy and reality is very, like, maybe not thick, but it's fucking noticeable as hell. Like, seeing a Friday the 13th movie full of gore is nothing compared to, like, a 15-second clip that someone will share on YouTube where a guy's actual ankle is broken.
Yeah.
Because the reality is there. And so Stiven here can go like, I've got a plan. I got samurai swords and I got a hacksaw and a Coleman tent and I'm going to wash out the blood. My hair won't be there, blah, 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 blah. But then when the rubber meets the road, you actually have to end a human life. And then the roller coaster doesn't end there. You now have 100, I don't know how heavy, let's say 110 pounds of evidence that you now have to hack apart in like supplies you just bought at REI. The fun is probably leached out a little bit.
Yeah. And the hair was definitely there.
Have you ever seen anybody over at her house the last couple nights?
No.
Okay. If you knew where she was, would you tell me?
Yes.
I wouldn't say shit.
What do you think happened to her?
I don't know.
You told the fucking news media she got grabbed while she was out running, bitch. I'm gonna get red shirt in here.
Do you care that no one can find her?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know, do you?
Yes.
Yes. He kind of feels like a Teddy Ruxpin. Or like one of those, modern, like the audio quality isn't terrible, so it's definitely the digital era, but he's like one of those stuffed animal dolls that were always completely unpleasant to be around.
Yeah, right.
Here's the thing. Minor gripe from yours truly. Stuffed animals are stuffed like with soft things because they're things you want around and you can throw them around. They're safe things that a lot of kids carry around as like safety blankets and stuff. But like your Teddy Ruxpins or anything that was like a thin veneer of cotton or polyester over like jagged plastic edges that held anywhere between a C and a D cell and or a cassette tape. Woof. Like
We've got Scout
sucks.
for Elliot, and that's a little better, but it's still super hard if it hits you.
The buttons, and no matter how small, like you can run it off a watch battery today, you still have like, there's something weird about it.
Yeah, there's a
like,
big box in his stomach.
We don't have these, but I imagine like if the future is depicted in sci-fi as it happens, like it would be like seeing a normal human versus like a cyborg. And you go, you go to hug him and like half of your body is like hurts and cold because like there's stuff that pinches and you go like, I love so-and-so, but they're fucking, I just can't be around them because they're a half cyborg.
Yeah, like hugging Seven. 7
of 9 only had, like she was, Jerry Ryan only had the little thing over her eye.
It'd be like hugging Data, I guess, because wasn't he?
No, Data would be, oh God, let's get lost in the weeds here. It would be like hugging Locutus.
Okay, yeah.
Data would presumably have a
body.
A body, not only that, but like I presume the technology being as it is, he would produce some sort of warmth and have like realistic flesh. And in 7 of 9, all of her hardware will be definitely under visceral layers of material.
Yeah, no.
No problem there except for the eyebrow. But Locutus. Yeah, you would want to have you would take 7 of 9 out of a date. You would want to like have a conversation about Faulkner with Locutus.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No.
Mm-mm.
Are you
You
surprised?
think Lauren was your girlfriend?
No.
Thank God for that, right?
I mean, you said you didn't have any other cars, right?
Right.
Well, why would everybody you went to school with for the last 3 and 4 years said that you own another car other than that Geo Prism? Everybody I've talked to.
This is the one part about this case I don't understand the sticking point of, because like in all of the media I've seen revolving around this case, it never gets brought up by anyone else ever again. He's got 2 cars. You got the Geo and something else. Like you say your grandfather's lying on you. All these people. if it's important to the case, it somehow escaped the
Everything.
sphere that I was in and am still in, because I don't understand.
I wonder if other people said that he had a different car, they thought that maybe he moved her body pieces somewhere.
I'm sure he used the car he's hiding to drop the bodies in all the.
But then they
various
probably
places.
found the car and they probably found nothing in it, so they just dropped it.
Right, but then that's the thing. Like, it's one of those stupid lies that. Like, if you got something in your house, right, and like only one or two people see it, you can lie and say, I don't have one of those. But a car is something that you probably go places with other people in, meet people, places, pick, people are going to see you in that shit. So to be like, no, I got no other car, and everybody
says otherwise.
Yeah, it's just a
supposedly.
weird sticking point, and it just doesn't come up as an important. So if you know, let me know.
All your friends you were in school with, people that you worked at the district attorney's office with, said you have other cars other than that car. And you're gonna sit here today and tell me you don't have another car?
I don't.
Well, where's it at?
I don't have one.
You never had another car besides that Geo Prism.
No.
So if I call your granddaddy, he's gonna tell me that you only have one car.
Yes.
What's his phone number?
I don't know.
Yeah, you do, because I already have it.
For some reason, I always am aware of like the bottom of the barrel when it comes to cars. And the Geo Prism and the Geo Tracker were like the fucking bargain basement dollar store version of the sedan and the SUV.
Oh, were they super tiny? Was the
So the
Prism
Metro
tiny?
was the hatchback that my buddy had one of, and typically they were a 3-cylindered automobile. The Prism was the sedan. It typically had 4 cylinders, but it was like the Kia Rio or the Nissan Versa or whatever. It's the bottom of the barrel cars always enthrall me because I've always loved the idea of like the least amount of energy and or quality and or whatever to get by.
Yeah, just like a beater.
Yeah. And Geo held that reigned in that spot for so many years. And then Kia came in, and I don't think Geo even exists anymore.
You don't know his phone number?
No.
I wouldn't either. So
His granddaddy is 2011. It's probably a landline. I still remember my grandmother's home phone line to this day, and she hasn't lived there in 20 years. So I guarantee he knows that fucking number. There's no way his granddad's like, yeah, I've had this T-Mobile number since 1989, and you still don't know it. There's no way his granddaddy's 2011 again. Maybe he has a jitterbug. He knows the phone number. He's just being an obtuse dickhead.
he looks like Edward Scissorhands if he had to register every year.
Man, you seriously can't?
Yeah, like if somehow they like got a Kickstarter together and raised enough money to get Edward Scissorhands like real hands, and all they did was like commit horrible crimes with them, or like fuck.
Help us out.
His number is in my cell phone
That's a start. Where's your cell phone?
at the
I
apartment.
don't know.
In your
Oh,
apartment? I mean, it's kind of late to be calling him. Does he stay up late?
I don't know.
Do you have a grandmother, or is it just him?
My grandmother passed away.
A while back?
Yes.
but he would know this.
You're
the
close to your
detective.
grandfather, right?
He already said he had his
Yes.
phone number.
I mean,
In the
don't you
phone.
want some property
No,
or
the
something,
detective said he already has.
Oh.
A
his
couple
number.
of acres.
That's the thing is like,
He's like, you don't know his number. Oh, I already have it.
yeah,
so.
he's trying his hardest, but like, I don't know how to put it. Sometimes when you deal with someone who is so far off what you're used to dealing with, it throws you into like a tailspin. Because like you talk to someone who's like, extraordinarily quiet or off-putting, or like they just give you that vibe, and you as a competent human being can turn into like this detective where it's like, you got the number, I got the number, and like, but I don't even need it, you got the car, I guess it doesn't matter. He's just like, because again, it's like shaking an 8-ball.
Yeah.
There's only so many answers you can get, and you're trying to creatively weave a narrative by essentially a random number generator.
Right. And he when he walked in initially,
All right, brother.
he had no idea that he was going to have a different facade than he did previously when he had already spoken to him, where he was talking presumably like a normal
Right.
person. So
Yeah,
like
'cause
he had to completely switch gears, I feel like.
He saw that he wigged and he started. Because that would be the natural thing. If you saw someone acting like this, you go, oh my God, something's wrong with him, and they're in shock. You would start treating them like a child, and you go, hey, I'm Detective Patterson. You remember me, boy? Like smelling
Snap
salts,
out
like
of it,
snap
yeah.
out of it. But it's lasted
6 minutes.
6 minutes at this point, and we've gone from like, hey, are you okay, to like, I don't even like. The detective is used to getting a fat pair of back tires dug into some asphalt that's been like warmed up by repeated burnouts, right? And here he is just floating in the void of space, and those tires are spinning backwards and forwards, just trying to grab something. And little does he know, it's
Never going to happen.
it's the void.
My granddaddy or my grandfather?
Who lives in Pike County?
My granddaddy.
Does he own any land down there?
Yes.
Okay. And do sometimes you go down there to visit him or something?
Last time we met, I went down and visited with my aunt and uncle.
Okay.
That's cool.
What did he
stuff.
do for a living? Was he an attorney like you?
He worked for the Southern Railroad Company.
Is anybody in your family an attorney?
No.
You're the only one that went through law school?
Yes.
Looking like that?
Well, that's an accomplishment, don't you think?
Yes.
I mean, it took a long time, right?
Yes.
A lot
How
of
old is
studying.
he? Do you know how old he is? Like, did he go right from high school? So he's probably 24.
Yeah, he's probably going. He's relatively young, and that's the thing. Is like, me now thinking like, why isn't he doing any rapport building or whatever? But again, there was a video, like an interview before this, where he acted like a normal person.
Hey, Allison.
What's up, Allison Marie Armstrong? Sorry about that. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like, if I walked into a situation like this, to just anywhere like outside of that, because I want to go like, all right, go back to rapport building like he's doing, talk about his family, talk about this, that, and the other.
He's trying to do anything to bring him back to like now.
But it's a dry well. I feel like this detective is feeling a lot like someone who bought a farm during the Dust Bowl, where like the interview before this, he was being shown around the farm, like everything was fine, the well had water in it, and they go, okay, see you next week after the papers are signed. You show up and it's a dry, dusty asshole, and there's nothing in the well because they had a bunch of shit imported in to fool you.
Yeah. Allison says, OMG, I'm so excited for this. Steven is a fucking weirdo.
Yeah. And so there's this detective, a Dust Bowl farmer with his dick in his hand and fucking 90 acres of dead nothing. And he goes, Steven. Why, Steven?
Rose.
I think you told me earlier you were from up Atlanta, or did you live in Atlanta or Griffin or something like that?
Weird smiley.
You don't have any
face.
family left up there?
Yes.
Well, who lives up there?
My parents.
Okay. Any brothers or sisters?
My sister lives in Tucker.
Georgia?
God, his poor
Yes.
sister.
What's up with the pair of underwear that was in your apartment?
Wait for it.
It was like a mask. It was cut out like a mask. You cut on.
What the fuck? Like, hey, we by your granddaddy. He a lawyer. You can work on the railroad. What's up with them underwear you got in your apartment cut up like a mask?
Do you pretend to be Rey Mysterio?
You cut up underwear, wear like a mask, Steven? Why, Steven? Why?
Cut underwear out that looked like mask?
No.
I knew it. I knew it, Decon. I knew his prototype was probably yours. He was probably wearing a fucking face full of like MeUndies with the leg holes up like rabbit ears.
How many guns did you have in your apartment?
3.
What are they? Do you know what they are?
No.
A rifle.
What kind of rifle did you have?
An AK semi-automatic.
Where'd you buy it from?
It's just really quick. Like the AK in the gun world is like, maybe it's like the Geo Metro. Like you can pick one up for a song. It's like whatever. It's spray and pray. Nobody cares. But it's like the bottom of the barrel. Like if you're gonna be a collector, but you're broke as fuck, you're gonna own high points, AKs, and those Russian, Decon probably knows, those Russian knockoffs of the AK or the Russian version, like Kalashnikovs or whatever, because they're or a Mosin Nagant or whatever. Like these things get passed around because they're a dime a dozen, and that's what Steven is. He's a low rent macaroni and cheese bitch.
Classic Arms.
Is that Atlanta or something?
Don't talk shit on AKs.
Okay.
SKS, yeah, there you go. Thank
What kind
you.
of pistols do you own?
EAA Witness. Full size and compact.
Okay.
Right, it's fine to own all of them, but like if you own them in addition to a bunch of other things, I get that because you want to run the gamut. Like if you know, I in Arizona, a lot of people I knew grew up, owned guns, and yeah, they would have like the AKs and the SKSs
All the
and
things.
shit like that, but it would build up to like a night like their sweet, Colt 1911. They have the barrel board out for the laser sights and yada yada yada. But Steven here is like, I have an AK-47, a high point 9mm that I shot once and then it broke, so I had to get the super glue. And God knows what else he has. Probably like a Taurus 22 revolver or some other broke dick shit that's like practically free.
What is that? What about the one that was on the bed?
That's the full size.
That's the full size.
What up, Matt Willis? Thanks for coming by.
Hey, Matt.
Steven!
Compact.
Why, Matt? Why?
Good.
Yeah. Remember I was in there?
Mm-hmm.
Then you had that samurai sword.
Oh, God.
That was just that's not, is it an expensive sword or is it just a knockoff?
It's a Bud
just
K.
one of the knockoff swords.
Let me ask you, is Bud K still a relevant reference? And when I say Bud K, does anybody get that shit anymore?
Why, Steven?
Why, Steven? Why, Bud K? You bought a samurai sword for $24.95, but it came with the ceremonial Tonto, Steven? Why would you pass up that deal? Why?
Swords.
Yes.
And what about the knife?
Which knife?
The one that was, remember you showed me it was dull?
Dole.
Yes.
What kind of knife is that?
Kukri?
'Cause I don't know.
Kukri.
Bingo. Here's the thing. Every culture, every genre of human is going to have like the one-dimensional bullshit douche. And like if you're going to be a weapons collector, apocalyptic weirdo, you're going to pick the low-hanging fruit because they're like the big names. Maybe this is news to you, but like a kukri or a machete, all the guns I mentioned before, these are like low-hanging fruit that any numbnuts like beyond the 30-day mark of the hobby would be like, oh, I can get things with a little more nuance. But no, Steven's like, fucking beanie weenies, AK-47s, and kukris.
Kale says they had some really cool swords at the Celtic Festival here last month, but they were so cheaply made. I considered the Thundercat Sword of Omens.
Yeah, and that, that's the weird thing about it too, is like today, and Bud K has really exemplified this. Like back in the day, so when stainless steel didn't exist, you had to fold the metal of a samurai blade hundreds of thousands of times to get the hardness and everything, so you have to clean it all the time and all that shit. And now, like, Bud K can be like, bloop, drop a little splooge into a mold, throw like a red shoelace over the handle, be like, this is a katana, bitch. Ceremonial, authentic Japanese bullshit, $24.95 with stand, and like I mentioned, the ceremonial Tonto will throw in a free gift of like one of those fucking brass knuckles that looks like a bulldog with the two ears that you can stab your opponents with.
Stab.
Jesus Christ. Like, when you think of a hobby, you think of a one-dimensional character that lives in that hobby. I don't care what it is. Steven is in that dimension.
Where do you get something like that online?
I bought it from a friend.
Did you have any other knives in the house
Yes.
that I didn't see? Because you didn't show me no other knives. That's the only ones you showed me. What other knives did I miss?
There's a pocket knife that's on the table.
It's got my name
Are
on
you a
it.
knife collector or a
steak
knife
knife.
person, or
No,
you just like knives?
I used to collect swords.
I mean, do you know your swords?
No,
Yes.
I mean, to sell and
No,
trade
he doesn't.
swords?
No.
no.
But
He
you
knows
just
Bud K
bought
catalog.
here and there.
Yes.
But you wouldn't consider yourself like a sword expert.
No.
Like, I saw the Sears catalog and the JCPenney catalog a lot as a child. I never would consider myself like a JCPenney's employee or like an expert on their inventory. And like for a time in my life, I was employed at a movie theater as a projectionist, and the guy who trained me was one of these sword dudes, and he had as much disdain for Bud K as I do, but he also had a lot more boring ass knowledge about what real swords were, and I was not interested, but I couldn't say no, because it was either that or sit in silence, and I'd rather hear about fucking full tangs than nothing, I guess.
Speaks in dream state monotone. I have Mac the knife in the CD player.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Back the knife.
Okay. Because, you know, they have that TV show where they sell stuff, you know, at night
Yes.
on TV. But I
QVC.
don't know what it's called, the
Right.
knife shop or something like that.
The knife shop.
You ever see that one where the guy tried to chop a disc and the blade flew off and hit him in the stomach? That was
that
pretty
was
fucking
crazy.
funny. Meme worthy, I'd call it. It's 2011.
He coined the term meme.
Classic meme. All right, Steven.
You know, tonight we're still looking for Lauren. You know any of these other
Most
girls
of
in
her.
this picture?
I know that she goes to the law school, but I
Okay.
can't remember her name.
So she's studying to be an attorney too?
Yes.
Okay. Is that how Lauren looked with the long hair the last time you seen her?
Yes.
Or she got, that's how she looks?
Yes.
He's staring at him.
Yeah, the back of his picture.
2010.
Yeah, he's like, shit, it like I've not before now. The footage was not stopped, but I'll be damned if it doesn't just look like a still frame of some like.
Yeah.
This would be like the thumbnail of a YouTube video that's like the last images before someone died or was eviscerated or whatever.
Right.
Like
He
this
doesn't-
this is the image they would show you, and then have to describe the fact that Stiven ripped his shirt off like an insane spider monkey and ate this detective's throat like a fucking Chipotle burrito.
Right. It just reminds me of like Steven is a zombie and is like,
Yeah, like he's turning, but he's not there yet. So
Right.
like he can see the pulsing jugular vein
Yeah.
in the detective's neck, and he wants to get at that shit, but he still has enough humanity to be like, no, that's a bad idea still, but just barely.
yep.
That's Lauren, all right.
Who do you think took Lauren away?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I need your help. Can you give me some, what is your observation of this? I know you're smarter,
As a law student.
okay?
Seriously,
I know you have.
with
Squeak.
last week with this poor chair. Last week with Phil being a doctor, and now with Stiven being an attorney. Like, this act is absurd.
You mean Maurice? Being a doctor? Who are we talking about?
No, Philip Markov. He wasn't a doctor yet, and
Oh,
Steven's not a
right.
lawyer, but
Yeah,
they were both like in the process of like the last umpteen yards of being the upper echelon of society, income wise.
Yep.
And yet, like, that's the thing. Like, school can teach you the mechanics of something, but it can't teach you all of the ways that things can go wrong. You need experience for that. You can learn what an engine is, does, all the parts of, and all the components thereof. But until you've seen all the things that can happen to that edge and how you have to deal with them, like, you don't know jack shit. And that's Steven. Like, he's a book lawyer who's like, I'm going to murder someone. But reality just would not bend to his will.
And what's her name with the dead husband in the suitcase? She was a straight A student.
Straight A, Sarah Boone. I've always been a straight A student.
Yeah.
I've always excelled at everything I do.
I think someone took her.
Murder?
You think, I mean, you watch TV shows, right?
Don't you?
Take the shows.
No.
What's your
Detective shows.
observation? How do you think somebody would take her?
You know, Sam
if somebody
Larson.
did take her,
When she was running.
does she normally run all the time?
She runs, I don't know how often.
Ugh.
You mean you think somebody might have took her when she was running like down the street somewhere?
Yes.
That's stupid.
You don't think somebody got
Hey,
her when she
who
got
was
back
the
to her
person
apartment?
who?
Sherry Papini?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was running and got quote unquote kidnapped, adult napped, taken. She left her phone and her iPad or
Yeah, but
AirPods
that's
on
the
the ground.
thing. Like, this shit, like, somebody being swept away does happen. I can't say it doesn't happen. But it's so few and far. It's not like This Is Mexico and the Losetas or CJ&G are like rolling through town, throwing flour sacks over dudes' heads and whisk them away in white vans to never be seen again. Like, this is not cartel country. This is Macon, Georgia. And they're around a law school. It's not like somebody's like, oh, you've made some powerful enemies, and Lauren Giddings is just whisked away to a Tijuana wasteland where she ends up in like a sulfuric acid soup. No, Stiven.
why?
Why, Stiven?
No.
Well, you know there was a body found in the trash can next to the apartments.
Yes.
You do know that. And it's a female, white female's body. Right there. Right next to y'all's apartment. Feet from her apartment.
I can see why the chair is the main character.
I'm telling you, there are so many movies, and I can't pull a single instance where like there's a heavy vehicle going over a rickety bridge super slow, only to find out that it's totally fine. It would never fall apart. And that's what this chair is. It just feels like for the first time you watch it, it feels like you're rolling the high spirits bus over that rickety bridge, and you go, I hope we make it. When it's like, yeah, it's seen his ass probably hundreds of times. It'll see it 100 more times.
I mean,
It's probably his favorite chair too.
we don't know 100% sure it's Lauren.
But who else would it be?
Confident it is.
Lauren's missing. There's a female torso.
There's no other women missing in the area.
Yeah, fucking 40 feet from the place where the woman used to live. It's a white female torso, roughly her size and shape. We don't want to like jump to any conclusions, but can you help us out here, Steven?
Sure. I mean, who would do something to somebody and throw them in a trash can?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm asking for your advice or your observation. Who in your complex would do something like that? You live over there for 3 years. Tonight's the first night I think I've ever been over there. In your expert opinion, of all your knowledge of going through law school and all that, who in that complex do I need to talk to?
I don't.
The law school wouldn't necessarily apply to like who he thinks is shady around the.
Right.
I get he's definitely trying to do an ego play to be like, you're a smart kid, Steven. Like, fucking, I need your help, Steven. But I one of my favorite phrases is read the room, and this detective brought a winter coat into a sauna.
I don't know.
No names come to mind. You can't help me out a little bit.
You can't think of no murders in your complex, Steven? Steven.
You can't help me out.
I don't know.
You don't
I
know
just want the
anybody.
chair to break and to fall backwards.
We don't live in a perfect world.
that lives in that complex.
Could you imagine, like, it... This would be, like, too much to ask for because it would be ridiculous and undermine us as humans. But, like, if there were like, 'cause remember when VHS tapes, classic, would come out and you get, like, sports bloopers or stuff that never made air, but somebody collected and you could see behind the scenes. Like, interrogation bloopers would be something that I would take a lot of joy and shame in.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if they were... But here's the thing, like a sports blooper is like, oh no, his pants fell down. Like an interrogation blooper is like someone wore their fucking gun into the interrogation room and the dude takes it literally immediately.
Yeah.
And then you have to be like, oh, well,
I guess I'm dead now.
hope I don't get fired and end up punching the dude in the head as your ponytail flings back and forth. Like, don't bring that into the... you fucking idiot.
You know, earlier you told me about a guy that lived in apartment 15. I mean, is he a decent guy?
I think so.
Don't y'all have a laundry room there or something?
Yes.
That everybody has access to the laundry room?
Keep in mind, okay, 13 minutes in, so not a lot of real time has passed for Steven. And the knowledge that the detective found and is aware of a pair of underwear, women's underwear, cut into a mask, was brought up
7 minutes ago.
Feels like that never happened, right?
Right. Oh, yeah. No, yeah. It was just like an in-passing thing. Like, oh, hey, what about that?
It's like a silk sheet on a bed when you like pinch it in the middle and pull it up and then it just sinks back down. It was as if it never happened.
Yeah.
But he has a pair of women's underwear he cut into a mask, like a Bane from the Dark Knight Rises style mask of women's underwear. And you know what?
Meh.
You know, how's your studies going, Steve? You're going to be a lawyer? Let's go back to that.
I need your advice.
Forget about the underwear you cut into a mask.
Yes.
Has anybody been working on the apartments below you?
I'm fucking tired,
last couple
Steven.
weeks that you've noticed?
I haven't seen anyone.
But you don't know if they've been doing work on that apartment, number one?
No.
I mean, earlier today, me and you sit here and talk normal. What's going on with you now? Why are you acting like this?
Yeah,
I
good
need to
question.
know. Why all of a sudden you're acting like this?
Evidence.
I don't understand.
The torso.
Earlier today, we said...
I don't understand. It is so fucking frustrating. There's if I knew the channel, I would drop it because they do good work. But there's one of the true crime channels I watch released some footage of a dude who killed his parents.
Mm-hmm.
And the detectives are like, hey, we know basically they're pulling that whole, we know everything. And if you confess, we'll give you life in prison instead of the death penalty. And there's nothing else you can do with this video because what else can you do? It's a like King Cobra JFS style, like gender relations rant loop of, I want legal advice. I don't necessarily want a lawyer, but I would also like the deal that you're offering me now after I talk to
somebody,
possibly a lawyer, to get some legal advice. So the conversation is this. I want legal advice, not necessarily an attorney. Detective. Here's the deal. You have to take it. It's not necessarily going to be on the table later.
And we can't give you legal
Suspect.
advice.
I get that. I'm not saying I'll stop the interview or stop telling the truth, but I would like legal advice. Detective, same bullshit. Suspect, same bullshit. They pulled the fucking prosecutor in at some point. And he goes, here's the deal. I cannot promise you I'll keep it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, an hour from now.
Right now.
Suspect, same bullshit. I'm not saying I won't stop telling the truth because you say you've got this case, but I feel like I should get some legal advice. And seriously, pop that fucking balloon.
Yeah.
Say, okay, done, and walk out and cause a panic attack and make him break. Or, again, do that same thing, walk out and shut the fuck up. Because what you're doing with this song and dance is lending his lawyer, when he gets one, a bunch of slack in the rope to be like...
Mistrial.
He was asking for legal advice, which I would argue is tantamount to a lawyer, because who can give you legal advice, you motherfuckers?
Yep. Yep.
Sat here and talked. But now you're acting like you don't know what's going on. I mean, did something happen or something to you?
Realization happened.
I mean, why are you shutting down? Why are you not talking to me?
I don't know.
You don't know? Are you scared?
No.
Debatable.
I mean, you're not scared, are you?
No.
I just said no.
Are you sad that something happened to Lauren? If that's her in that trash can?
Yes.
If... I just,
Oh my God, they are staring down each other. I cannot.
Right, but just seriously, think of the fucking astronomical coincidence where, like, we're in a situation where, like, what do you think we'll find? Like, you know, someone disappears and there's a torso in the dumpster in your apartment complex of someone fitting that description. Like, if there were 2 gold rings suspended by platinum chains that swung for eternity and only met in a perfect circle for a millisecond every 4 minutes, right? It would be as if a meteor shot through both of those rings at the exact right time. And Steven is innocent in this situation.
Yeah.
So not only does it have to go through those rings, it has to, like, miss Earth, pull out a top hat, and do like a Michigan J. Frog style dance off into the horizon. It's fucking crazy. I didn't mean to badmouth your AK-47s.
Can't remember the last time earlier today that you took the trash out to the trash can. Right? Am I wrong?
That's right.
I mean, because you said you like stayed inside the whole weekend, I think, because you had all your food and all that.
Real quick, Decom, what would you call an AK-47 if it's not spray and pray? Are you, like, you're going to pull out your AK and, like, do some sharpshooting with those 1980s produced Yugoslavian weapons where you're, like, mostly wood and they've been packed in grease for 40 years hiding in a jungle bunker? No, definitely not spray and pray.
You never went to Kroger over the weekend or
Kroger.
Walmart or anything?
That's fries.
Did you go to fucking Publix? They got that making?
I don't know.
When you go to Kroger, when you do go to the store to get your food, do you use a credit card or you pay cash?
Cash.
Do you have a Kroger card?
Yes.
Okay. So
It kind of feels like there's no...
Do you get fuel points with your Kroger card, Steven?
Well, like what I'm going to get at here is, like, when the police have a basic idea of what happened, they'll ask questions regarding the knowledge they already know. So they'll go, hey, is there any reason you did this? Or, like, when you go here, do you use credit card, cash? Because they already know that shit. But with Steven and Detective Patterson here, it feels like he doesn't know shit. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, so, I got like a Visa card there, Steven. Like, it doesn't feel like his purpose is to poke holes in a narrative. It just feels like he's a computer that used to run some industrial machinery that has long since been disconnected, but the computer was left on and it's still sending out those impulses to be like, spin the lathe.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And he's like, But what else are you going to do? Like, Steven is a pure void.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Decon. Master Smith.
The Kroger card should be able to tell if you were at Kroger this weekend, right?
I knew it. I knew it.
Do you swipe
I would bet $100 right now that Decon owns an M1 Garand.
your card?
I'll take your $100 whenever you're ready to send it,
Cell phone
Decon.
number? No, because I enter my phone number because I can't never remember to bring my card. But you don't remember if you went over to Bay. You drive your car or you walk over there?
I drive.
You ever
Where do
go
you
to
drive?
Walmart on the east side of Gray Highway? Or which Walmart do you go to when you go to Walmart?
Gray Highway.
You don't ever go out to Zeppelin Road?
I don't shop at
This
Walmart.
dude's fucking
You never been out there?
attitude towards
Stephen
Steven is just all over the place. I can't handle it.
So you just basically go to the one on Gray Highway?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know
He's
where
like
you're at
laying
tonight?
down.
Seriously,
Like,
he's almost completely vertical.
Detective Bureau.
Or sorry, horizontal. Steven's vertical.
And you know
Yes.
why
Steven.
He has
we've been
not
working all
moved.
day trying to find Lauren, right?
Yes.
What
Because
his
her family
necklace
wants
is?
to know where
Steven looks like that might be a graphic on his shirt. It's 2011 cameras.
Oh.
But I'll take your $100 now, Decon. But yeah, Steven looks like a scarecrow torso that you can buy from like the Spirit Halloween store. Like it's a human facsimile, but like the joints aren't right and like the position isn't right, and it looks like if you touch it, the arms will go because it's just nothing but like foam, latex, and wire.
where she's at.
Yes.
And I don't
Spirit Superstore should market a Steven McDaniels torso where like you pop him in your front yard and he goes, I don't know.
know what to tell her family. So I'm asking you.
I knew it.
What do I need to tell her family?
I don't know.
What do you want me to tell them? I don't know. Huh? You're gonna have to tell me what to tell her family. It's all on you, brother.
Now's the time to be like,
What do you want
why?
me to tell her family? Huh?
When the detective is leaning back, you put like a McDonald's cup right on his stomach.
Well, I need to know.
But really quick, like on a serious note, like on what planet would this detective like want to go and talk to her parents and tell them exactly what Steven did? Obviously, they're pretty sure they know he's
He
the
did it.
dude because
Yeah.
he's checked out. But if I were Steven, I'd be like, why would they care what I think? I was a neighbor. But he
Right.
knows he did it, so he's not going to say that. But when the detective is like, what do I tell her parents that you told me about her? He's not going to go like, what would they fucking care?
Right. Who am I to them?
Oh, yeah,
The
Cher.
bad Cher costume.
Do you believe in life after law school?
Not for Steven.
No.
Well, he got a life sentence after law school.
Right.
If something happened to Lauren and you know,
Goddamn, do I
you need
love
to tell
Cher.
me. If you know something. Because I need to know.
If you say something, say
Because
something,
her family's
Steven.
down here want to know what happened to her.
I don't know.
Like a candy apple.
Well, I like the mic by
You don't
accident.
know.
No.
That's what you want me to tell her mother and her father.
I tell you, run your mouth on the fucking news media. Get
Not
to
that
it.
you're sorry that she's missing.
Be angry
Not
with him.
that you've been trying to help me all day find her, but you just wanted me to tell her I don't know.
I don't know.
Are you
where
a
she
sorry
is.
piece of shit that you want me to tell her that?
Bingo. We've entered the confrontational. It took less than surprise, surprise. We've seen 18 minutes of raw
Yeah.
footage. So hey,
I'm
good
happy
news for
for
us.
us.
We've met our goal in way under time.
Yeah.
But again, I would love to see more interrogations like this where you know it's a lock. And I feel like they know it's a lock, but they, again, since the interrogation yields the gold standard that is the confession, they have to keep, reaching for that brass ring, so to speak. But if it's such a lock that you can go totally horizontal, yawn, and be like, I think you're a piece of shit, like 18 minutes into 2 hours? Like, don't get me wrong, I get why these dudes want to abuse Stiven. But at some point, you got to be like, I'm beating a dead horse.
Yeah, this is done.
And
Like,
when you realize the horse you're beating is nothing but a skeleton, and beyond that, half the bones are already gone.
yeah.
You got your ass on that fucking news.
Fucking news
And
media.
stood out there and gave a media report that her mother saw about her
Heartbreaking.
missing daughter. And you want me to sit there and tell him that you don't know? Is that what you want me to tell him? Because you're all over the news. You sure stood out there and ran your mouth to the news media.
He did. He said,
But now
"Bye."
you're going to get out here and you don't fucking know. You know. You're just a sorry piece of shit that don't give a fuck.
He's right, too.
Right?
No.
Well, why'd you tell the media everything? Do you need to see what you told the media today? It was on the 11 o'clock news. Well, I'm asking you. Tell me. I want to know.
I don't know where she is.
That ain't what you told the media.
It is kind of what he told the media, because
Didn't he just assume that she got taken by a...
right? Because if we're going to believe his story and that, like, you know, she got grabbed, then
That's it.
he wouldn't know where she is.
And he said it before to him.
Consistent, but again, since Steven is guilty, and here's the thing, between book smarts and like functional intelligence, he seems stupid, so he can't even muster like even half a defense.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, he has had look into his case, because his lawyerness really kicks in after this interaction, because he has so many weird appeals, and he like there are very few cases in which there's, like, for me at least, reasonable doubt, where I go, I'm not sure, based on everything that I have available to me, I still couldn't make a choice if I were on the jury. Or like with Stiven, it's like a Chris Watts. We know we did it. There's, you know, a museum, like a National History Museum's worth of evidence if you wanted to put a Chris Watts or a Stephen McDaniels into that sort of shit. So it's just kind of nice to be like, not grappling with anything, to be like, oh, but what if? It's like, well, Stephen did it.
My great grandpappy Leviticus Jedediah is turning in his grave after the Yankee shit you pulled over your face.
My great granddaddy Jedediah.
Leviticus Jedediah.
Oh, sorry, Leviticus Jedediah.
Bet you got crabs from the britches you stole. And made a mask out of Stiven.
Right, but then it would be like, ugh. Because that's the thing. This is another sniglet or a factoid that everybody, I think, should know, is like lice and crabs are the same bug.
Yeah.
Which means that they can infest, like, if you have a beard, like, you could have, like, pubic lice in your beard. Like, they just need hair.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing. But the fact, it's just where they live, right? Because human is a human is a human, but if they live on Skid Row, they're a bum. But if they live in Scottsdale, they're like a yuppie. They're still a human. Mm-hmm. Just if you live near a crotch, you're you're a crab.
You didn't stand in front of that camera and say, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I wonder what that gray thing on the table is.
Right? You buy all these weapons. Was you ever in the military?
No.
Oh my
What do you
God.
need all these weapons for? Are you scared somebody's gonna hurt
3
you?
guns, P.S.
No.
And
What do you need all
knives,
these weapons for?
swords.
Oh, yeah.
To have.
Why?
I don't know. I'm
There's a-
sorry.
To have.
I'm sure that like they could do damage and probably even kill someone, but like I lump Bud K equipment or whatever his equivalent is, like the low rent, non-enthusiast version collector of this shit, to like steak knives, where if you're into true crime, you'll run across things that happen where steak knives are involved because they're very easy. They're on display in a block in all these houses, and they constantly break. So when anybody is killed by a steak knife, it's anywhere between 2 and 6 of them, because anywhere between 1 and 5 of them are gonna break.
Yeah.
And I lump that with the Bud K thing. So I don't even like consider them like weapons. Like if I were to legitimately try and end somebody with anything I bought out of that catalog, it would end poorly for me.
Yeah.
Because right around the 3rd swing, it would no longer be a weapon. And the person who now just has at most slight bruises and contusions would probably kick the shit out of me.
Right. Decon
There's a
says,
reason
not me,
why.
bro. My midgets and women grew my beard like I'm a damn chimpanzee. So he won't get lice or crabs. Or
Well, that's not saying you won't get lice or crabs. It's just you'll have a system in place for maintenance once you are infected. Those little tiny midget fingers to get those egg sacs. But they're jaundiced, so I don't know.
Were you molested as a child?
Woo!
No.
Then why do you need all these weapons?
To have.
That's some A to Z logic right there. Like, sometimes I'm guilty of being like A to D or E logic, where like you're going to have to fill in a few of the alphabet characters yourself. Whereas like that was like, huh? Like,
Damn.
if you go A, B, C, D, W, X, Y, Z, like that was the shift we took. And I don't think we have enough ifs and thens,
No,
like imaginary boards and nails, to get us through that alphabet.
I don't think so.
You molested
Why?
as a child?
Give me
Why'd you
one
buy a
good reason.
knife? Huh?
Just give me one reason.
To have.
Give me
Why?
one reason.
To have.
Does it make you feel
To
important?
have and to hold.
No.
Sickness and health. Until I stab my roommate.
Are you a big guy because you got a weapon?
No.
Definitely not.
Do you even know how to use it?
Yes.
It. Meaning
I
what?
need you to tell me what you want me to tell her mother. And then I won't ask you another thing. I'm not going to tell her mother that you don't know, because her mother saw you on the news tonight.
I will agree with you, Deacon. Only people who are molested get weapons from Bud K. Controversial statement. Took balls to say it, but you know what? I'll stand by it.
She cried all the way down to Macon. Because you had the balls to get on the news and tell everybody everything.
The amount of coincidences like that are fucking mind-boggling. Like where, like Steven got on the news, or because like the ancillary things that happen, it's all around a coincidence. So like I was watching a video today where a dude who was, maybe he was a lifer, I don't know his sentence, but he was in prison, and the dude who sexually assaulted his younger sister was put in the same cell. And guess who got murdered? But shit like that happens. Everybody's like, well, how did that happen? Like, oh my God, wasn't anybody looking over the records or whatever? Who?
Well,
Like, it's a
not only
huge
that,
bureaucracy where
Right.
all these pieces are moving and no one is taking any specific interest in any of them. So it just makes sense that in a random kaleidoscope that is the universe, that victim and perpetrator are going to end up in the same place. And hello?
oh, and not to be that person, but who's to say that they didn't know that that was a thing?
Right. And devil's advocate, sure. You can say like bureaucracy put them there by random chance, or somebody had a ulterior motive where they
Right.
put a 70-year-old child molester in with a 20-year-old lifer in for murder.
Yep.
But the thing about it is, like, in this, the one instance I'm talking about specifically, the dude taunted the molester, taunted the victim's sibling. Just like what was Steven? God damn it. And I just saw him again today.
Yeah.
Steven, what's his name?
Who killed the dude?
Theodore
cellmate.
Dyer. I can remember his name because he got murdered. But Ted wouldn't shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And that's a common story. It's like they wouldn't shut up. And I didn't want to, but
Here we
it
are.
was the right thing to do in their eyes. And you know
then,
what?
like, what worse is going to happen to them? They're already in there for life.
Right, like the guy who killed Richard Huckle. Like, you think he's got like any bad karma points in anybody's mind?
Right. The Unmos
You
get
didn't
them
have no
from
problem
Walmart.
talking to the news when they asked you questions.
No, they got a Target. No, just kidding. They don't sell weapons.
I'm asking you
Amazon.
questions. Where's Lauren?
Cabela's,
Cabela's, yes.
I don't know.
Bass Pro
Yes,
Shop.
you do know. You do know. You do know. You
might.
know. You know. You do know. And everybody in Macon knows you knows because you got your sorry ass on the news and told everybody. So every friend you have in Macon knows that you know.
Do you think that was his, like,
Everybody
nail in the
goes to school
coffin,
with,
being on the news,
everyone
versus anything else? I mean, besides the hair. If they didn't have that.
I don't know. Yeah, that. I would like to imagine, because I'm not intimately familiar with this case, that like on the torso, because it. I don't know. This is one of those cases where you can go like, this seems kind of hinky, because they searched his apartment, and even though at this point, you know, he found the underwear cut into a mask, it wasn't until like the second or third search where they found the hacksaw and the packaging for the hacksaw. And if I remember correctly, the packaging for the hacksaw was found in the bathroom, one of the smallest rooms in any domicile.
And probably one of the first places you should look for something that you're going to get rid of.
Right. And that's the thing, is like we're in a very specific time period where I don't think they know the Coleman tent was involved, but they know a saw was probably involved. They know that he is probably the perpetrator. And that's where we're at, because I think, if memory serves again, he used the tent in his own apartment, but it doesn't matter. They think that hair and stuff will be in the bathtub in the bathroom, because like that's where somebody typically would dispose of a body, because there's running water and plenty of receptacles for liquid. But Stiven here went and got, you know, a 2-person tent from REI, which
To just get rid of afterward, which probably isn't a dumb idea, but
it's sickly genius for Steven, because you would think, or rather you wouldn't think, unless you have this specific perversion, like what could you essentially butcher an animal in that's waterproof?
Yeah.
And what is something that's waterproof that humans go in that you can buy for $25?
right.
It's a fucking tent.
Yeah. Decon said his end was the Bud K weapons. The detective was like, Bud K, what are you, poor? Get them from Ninja Warehouse like a real man.
Yeah, as soon as they were like, Bud K, this guy's a murderer.
One of your professors, everybody knows that you know, because you got on the news tonight and told
Right.
everybody that
Fucking
you know.
mouth of the news media.
Now, how do you think? You think you're gonna be able to walk down the street tomorrow and nobody bother you?
He doesn't leave, right?
Think nobody's gonna come over and knock on your door
I don't think so.
to see if you want to talk to the media again?
I don't know.
Oh, they're gonna be over there, brother. So this little act that you're doing right now
Fucking
ain't
weird.
working with me. Okay? Because you didn't have no problem talking to the media.
And also, P.S. me earlier today,
No
I think.
problem.
Right. He was in his apartment with him.
Snap out of it and tell me what the hell happened so we can move on.
I want to go home, Stiven.
Well, How many times you gonna say I don't know?
I want to kiss
A
this
lot.
chair goodnight.
How many times you gonna say it?
I don't
know.
When are you gonna say I remember? But I don't want to remember what.
Like that's a suicidal drinking game. It's like, take a shot every time he says I don't know. Like
No.
we're
we'd be
23
dead.
minutes in. You would have been dead 18 minutes ago.
What happened to her? How many times you gonna say that? If you did something,
Restraint on his part, right?
Yeah.
regret. You need to let me know.
I didn't.
Well, who did?
I don't know.
No.
Well, a body was found over here, right next to where you live.
Huh. Interesting.
What do you have in your apartments? A lot of knives.
And underwear cut up like a mask. Your underwear cut up like a mask, David.
What up with that?
Really dig into that shit. Like, that's an interesting piece of information.
And I'm asking you about it, and you're just saying, I don't know. That's all. That's the only answer you can give is I don't know.
What's up with that shit,
6
Steven?
hours or a couple hours ago, you was out there telling the media everything. You didn't stand in front of that camera and say, I don't know. You were actually answering questions. Right?
Sit on my lap,
How many answers did you
Steven.
give?
Come here. Tell me a
What
story.
do you want for Christmas,
I don't
Steven?
know.
You gave
Red Ryder official, a lever action BB gun, Steven. You shoot your eye at, Steven.
like 3. Do you think that was a proper thing to do when a mother's looking for her child?
They asked me what happened.
And what did you tell them?
I don't know.
What did you tell them?
That Lauren was missing.
Okay.
Which they
what
knew.
else did you tell them?
That we had gone looking for her.
Okay.
I was setting up an alibi.
And what?
Put my
That we
glasses
hadn't
on, Steven.
found her.
And what else did they ask you?
Do you know when you're going through the part of the ride of Pirates of the Caribbean before the pirates all get rowdy and the singing starts, where everything is just sort of on fire and falling apart and creaky? Like, if you close your eyes and pretend you're sitting in that ride next to someone being interrogated, it will just transport you away to the Magic Kingdom in which someone was murdered.
This just the squeaking. If I close my eyes, just reminds me of the Mayflower,
Why don't
the
you
old
remember?
your old Corolla.
Oh, yeah. It was a
You're telling
Camry.
me
Sorry, Camry.
that you went through law school.
Mayflower.
Well, you went through college first, right? Did you graduate from college?
Yes.
Now you're in law school. Did you graduate from law school?
Yes.
But you don't fucking remember what they asked you this afternoon?
No.
Huh? You just don't
Where
fucking
my
look at
underwear?
you.
Oh, here
Mask,
comes Red
Steven.
Shirt. Oh, God. Thank God he's here.
Don't came back yet.
I love Red Shirt.
What's up,
He's
bud?
a fit red shirt.
What's up, bud?
Did you talk to him about his guns?
Look at his sideburns.
When was the last time you shot those guns?
I haven't.
You've never shot a gun?
No.
Have you ever shot any gun in your whole life?
Just really quick.
He just came in hot.
No introduction. No, hi, I'm Detective such and such. I wear a red shirt. Just like, how many, what'd you do with them guns, Steven? Like, a force of nature, this guy comes in. He is going to, whereas our fat Detective Patterson is sort of subdued and like I don't know, he seems like kind of a fatherly figure who he's like, hey man, come on, come at me here. Red Shirt's gonna be like an older cousin who's like, cut the shit, man, you know me.
No.
Never.
No.
Oh, to answer your question, Allison, Steven, before he perpetrated his attacks against Lauren Giddings, apparently stole Deacon's underwear and wore them proudly.
Put
So
eye
you
holes in
bought
them
3
and everything.
guns that you've never shot.
Or you did,
Yes.
apparently.
Or you.
Why?
To have.
Wow.
For what?
To have.
For what? I'm asking for what? Why do you want to have them?
Self-defense. Just
Yeah,
say
here's the thing.
self-defense.
Criminal or not, if you ask a gun owner why they own guns, the answer will be because. Because the Second Amendment. No one's ever going to say because I think people of a darker skin tone than me might break into my house one day.
Right. They don't want. Yeah. Right.
What makes, did they give you, I mean, tell me why it's important to you to have 3 guns.
Detective Pepto-Bismol.
That's an easy question.
Sideburns, Stiven.
Come on, talk to me, buddy. Me and you talked all day today. We ain't had a problem communicating.
So with that shit.
Why is it important for you to have 3 guns?
Not only 1, but 3.
Do you not know?
No.
Okay. You got a girlfriend?
I'm sure he got them either from friends or a gun show, which is a lot, like going to a gun show is a lot less strict than going to like a gun
and
store.
Here's the thing too, when Craigslist and Backpage were a thing, like
this is what, 2011?
Gun control. Like if you buy one and sell it on Backpage, there's literally no check whatsoever. Like, and yeah, with the hair. Anybody who walks in with that hair, you go, something's up with that shit. But yeah, buying it from a friend, buying it online, buying it from literally anybody.
Yeah, you can get it from a neighbor, right?
It was the Wild West back in the early days. I don't know if Craigslist and Backpage are still a thing and you can do that, but like a private sale, like, because I've run this over in my mind, right? Because if you do a private sale of a gun, you're being like, I hope you don't kill anybody with this, because if like you're the registered owner of that gun, like let's say you go and buy like a Beretta from a Sportsman's Warehouse, and you go, you know what, this Beretta was cool, it's been in a lot of movies, but not for me, it's a little bulky, and you get rid of it. Part of you is like, I hope no police officer ever comes knocking on my door, because if you're a lazy asshole who doesn't take like a copy of the dude's driver's license or some proof that you sold it,
anything, like,
yikes, right?
Take screenshots of that shit.
And Stiven could be like, yeah, I don't know, I don't even own a gun, because like if it's not registered, like if I today went and bought something from an unattentive gun owner who didn't take any of my information and I commit a crime with it, I don't know if they'd be able to like go to him and be like, this gun was registered to you. What's up with that? He'd go like, I sold it. I don't know. And they'd be like, well, did you? And if he goes, no.
Yeah, I have no receipts or anything that I sold it. Allison says, did you guys play his television interview? If there was a how not to act for serial killers, it would be that clip. Yeah, no, we didn't play the news footage, but I recommend it. Bro goes into cardiac arrest. Arrest? Am I going to be under cardiac arrest? I don't care. Give me the gun. Ew, Berettas. Hey, man, don't badmouth Beretta. The PX9 Storm was a fucking beautiful piece of hardware. I forget what I used to have. I had an M9.
Who's your best
PX9
friend?
Storm.
Michael Quinn.
Michael who?
Quinn.
Who is he?
He was a law student.
Why am I yelling?
Is he still a law student?
This is the guy who says, why?
I can
When was
tell.
the last time you talked to him?
He has a lot of espresso going through his veins.
How long ago was that?
The why is always the question, right, Allison? You say, why did they kill this person? Why?
We talked about it earlier. Like,
well, I'll put a finer point on it. With Stiven, the why is because when your hand gets caught in the cookie jar and the stakes for that jar are so high, your lizard brain goes, okay, wipe the slate. Depending on what your crime is, if you get caught in the act, there are varying degrees, but there's a line somewhere that goes, uh-oh, I'm caught, and your lizard brain is going to go, wipe everyone who saw this. And for Stiven, that's it. How do you... Ruger's okay. They're overbuilt for sure, but yeah, they last forever. But with Stiven, it's not like a pair of Lauren's panties was found in the bushes in front of his house. You go, oh, well, that's talk out of a bull. You know what I mean? And you go like, Yeah, I don't know. Someone may broke into your house and there they are. Sure, maybe my mustache hair is on it, but you can't do a DNA test. But when Lauren wakes up and you're in her house, there's no way in which you come out of that situation as a lawyer anymore.
Well, and Allison, he killed her so fast because we talked about it earlier. Like, they were about to graduate, so she could have just left Georgia and he would have never seen her again.
Right. This was a nexus of, I mean, his intense infatuation and obsession with her probably would not have ended in her murder if she hadn't woken up, he hadn't broken in, and or a million other things happened.
Right. And yeah, like maybe not put her torso in the dumpster in your apartment. You're right, Allison. Like that, he had a car. He could have driven her body somewhere else.
But,
not that we want
but
to
here's the thing.
give
He
people
took
ideas.
all of her body parts elsewhere. And the only reason, again, the only reason they found the torso is because the parking lot was blocked off because Lauren's disappearance was like picked up quickly.
So the garbage man couldn't come.
Yeah, so it was only by the grace of whoever noticed that this popular girl was missing that Stuyven completely overlooked.
Allison said, I think she was supposed to be moving the next day or something.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, it was so close. She was going to be gonzo.
Yeah. And he knew. And then he was like, well, time to just do it. Because I can't live without her, so she can't live.
Yeah, there were pieces of her. He disarticulated her in a tent. Maybe I'm an idiot, but I feel like I remember like the broad strokes of this case were like he bought a tent because it's a perfect waterproof encapsulation where you can do a bunch of weird shit, and a hacksaw, which they found in the maintenance closet with her tissue on it, and the packaging was in his bathroom.
A few weeks.
A few weeks, like a month, 2 months, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, what?
The beginning of June.
Beginning of June? Beginning of June.
I'm going to write this down and say it out loud. Okay, Stuyven?
June 1st through the 5th.
So let me ask you a question. How? You say you don't know where Lauren is, right?
Right.
You told me earlier you and Lauren were friends, right?
I don't. Allison says, Christ, I can't believe the Virgin. Actually,
Yeah.
the balls chop her up. At that point, I don't think it's balls. Like, if he were a Dahmer or a Gacy and, like, he knew that at the end of whatever he had planned initially, he'd have to get rid of the body, that'd be one thing. But he bought the tent, so that's the thing. I don't know. I think that it's just a choice of necessity. If you commit a murder and then get cold feet in that moment, it doesn't fucking matter anymore. Because before you commit the murder, you can get cold feet, stop, and you don't have to finish the plan.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a point of no return where she did, and she is 100 and some odd pounds of evidence. And it's not a matter of balls or courage or cowardice. It's a matter of utility. It's not like he was able to muster himself to be like, you got this, Stuyven, take care of this corpse. It was like, you have no other option.
Right. What do you do now?
Let's not imbue Stephen with any higher moral or brain function, right? He had to. There was no other option.
Yes.
How would you describe y'all's relationship?
Now I really want to see him kiss the top.
I know, me too.
Friend. What did you ever do things for her? Did she ever do things for you? What did she ever do for you?
We talked.
We talked. What y'all talk about?
News.
The news.
Not murder.
Okay. Earlier you was telling me something about you fixed her computer before.
I couldn't fix it.
You couldn't fix it? What was wrong with it?
I don't remember.
How long ago was that?
Around graduation.
Well, how long ago was that?
Middle of May.
Middle of May? So you were over in her apartment in the middle of May?
Yes.
Have you been over there since then?
Yes.
When was the last time you were over there?
Last night.
Before last night. Have you ever been over there with Lauren since the time you worked on her computer in the middle of May?
No.
How many times have you been in her apartment with her hanging out?
I don't know.
Okay, so we've reached a pivotal point. So with the removal, or the, not the removal, but the absence of the fat detective is going to provide a vacuum for Red Shirt to come in and start doing some really hilarious physical bits of comedy.
You don't know?
You're not that stupid, Decon.
If you had to guess.
You're right, Allison. It definitely is like an alien came down and like saw a single movie. I don't care what it is. Pick it, whatever movie. And was like, I think I got this on lock. And they realized they were in over their head immediately and that they chose the wrong wig.
What was you, I mean, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times what?
Maybe 2.
Maybe 2? See, if I had only been somewhere twice, I could remember that. If I had been there over 50 times and you asked me how many times, I'd be like, I don't know, a lot. But the fact that you've only been there twice, when I say how many times you've been there, you say you don't know, that's just odd to me. Does that make sense to you?
This is the kind of like down home, country fried, salt of the earth fucking question that most interrogations need. It's just a real travesty that when these beautiful lightning in a bottle style questions appear, they bounce off the brick wall that is Stiven's fucking fuzzy troll hairdo. Cause like, yeah, everybody wants to hear the detective be like, hey man, as a human, like level with me. What's up with that? Only to be like, I don't know. At the end of it is like,
Yes.
That does make sense. So what I'm saying right now makes sense.
No.
look at him. He's so frustrated. I love this guy.
When was the last time you saw Lauren?
2 or 3 weeks ago.
And have you been on vacation for the last couple of weeks?
No.
You been home every night?
Yes.
Has she been at home every night?
I don't know.
Has she been on vacation?
I think she was away for a while.
How long?
I don't know.
Were you looking for her?
No.
No.
Let me tell you, even if I didn't talk to my neighbors, I know if my neighbors have been in and out. I hear them come in, I hear them go out. I see them when they walk by my window. I've lived in apartments most of my life. So the fact that you haven't seen her in 2 or 3 weeks, that's just odd to me. I'm gonna be honest, it makes me feel like you're not being honest.
Maybe things are different in an apartment, but the neighbor next door, I never see, and I'm glad for it.
Yeah, I never hear her car. I only hear her dog outside. That's it.
Yeah, don't want to.
And we're not that.
Full stop, period. Don't want to. But I don't know what it's like to live in an apartment. I lived in one for roughly 6 months. Didn't know any of them either.
Right. If you're a person that keeps to
Steven?
yourself,
Yeah.
why?
Why would you not be
Simon?
honest with me?
I am being honest.
Steven, it just doesn't feel like it, buddy. You know, I get the sense that there's something weighing heavy on your heart right now.
Do you really?
And it's breaking you
Your
down.
heart, Stephen. All these emotions. You're failing.
And you feel bad about it.
No.
I can tell you haven't slept much, have you, in the last few days, have you?
No.
Like something's weighing on your mind, ain't it?
Like you're a murderer,
Looking
Stephen?
for Lauren.
You started looking for Lauren yesterday.
Yes.
But you haven't slept in several days, have you?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Earlier when I talked to you, you said you hadn't slept in days. That this morning was the first time you was able to get any sleep, was this morning for a little bit.
No.
No.
Yes, that's what you said.
Steven's confused.
That's what you told me.
See, that's the thing. This guy's anger is doing so. He's got a couple of virtues. So he was able to probably to watch what was going on before Fat Detective left. So he was able to get that shock out of the system without doing it in front of Staven. But the fact that he's coming with some anger makes him more engaged. Whereas White Shirt is like, what up with that underwear? Are you a doctor or whatever? We're like, this guy is sticking pretty close to a narrative.
Yeah, Allison, this happened in Macon, Georgia.
Yeah, Macon, Georgia. There's a law student here, Macon.
So I asked you, well, if you haven't been able to sleep in several days, what have you been doing? Studying? And you said, yeah, studying.
I mean, studying murder.
You don't remember that?
No. Why not, Steven? Steven! Wow!
What I want
Are
you
we
to
going to
do,
get one Y out
I'm
of
going
this
to ask you
guy
this
for-
question. I want you to describe to me how you feel right now.
I don't know.
You don't know how to answer that with a yes or no, do you?
No.
I don't
know what's going on.
What?
Lauren's missing.
Check.
Got that.
This pretty little
Here we
girl
go.
right
Come
here.
over to the chair.
Your neighbor.
Baby. Like, seriously, as much as, like, Fat Detective and The Chair get prestige on the internet, all the quotable lines come from Red Shirt. The hair is there. Why, Steven? Everything when you quote this interrogation is coming from Red Shirt. When he scratches his head over that legal pad, he's like, say that, Steven? The hair is there. Your hair, Steven. You don't clean your apartment in a week, Steven? Why? It's this guy.
She's missing.
Peas and carrots.
You went looking for her last night.
We would like peas and carrots.
Did you hurt Lauren?
If the carrots had a knife and chopped up the peas.
Steven, did you hurt Lauren?
No.
I know this is hard for you to tell it. But it's weighing on you right now, ain't it, Steven?
I can tell in your eyes.
But
Dead milky. Oh, God.
God damn.
Who did?
Got that shit
Can't
on
you
loud.
I don't know.
Why is it that I can, and you can too, hear them breathing through their nose so heavily? Like, I thought it was just like maybe Fat Detective had, you know, problems with sleep apnea, and so like you could hear his breathing. But even Red Shirt here, he's like, Simon, what'd you do with that girl, Simon? Jesus.
They all have high cholesterol.
You know,
That shit made me so
me and you
uncomfortable.
both know it's no
1000%.
different than when you was a little kid, right?
The cookie
And you
jar
reached in
analogy.
that cookie jar and you got caught after your mama told you not to get that cookie. And when she was, did you get a cookie? No. And
No.
whenever you tell a lie, you feel bad about it right then. One, with every lie, there's a chance you're going to get caught. And that weighs on you
Did you take that cookie, Stephen?
because you know you did something bad.
Damn, boy, why are you
Right?
so goddamn weird?
You're so goddamn weird. I just want to know where's Lauren? Steven? Did you take that cookie, Steven? Take that cookie. Your mom told you no, but did you take that cookie, Steven? You can tell me. We're friends, Steven. Why, Steven? Why did you take that cookie, Steven?
I thought we was friends,
I thought we
says
was
Fantastic
friends,
Planet.
Steven.
No.
You was friends, right? You was acquaintances, friendly type,
What'd you do, buddy?
buddy.
I didn't do anything.
What'd you do to Lauren?
I didn't do anything.
Cookie
You saw
jar.
Lauren last night, though?
Did you eat that
Yesterday?
cookie?
No.
What time was it that she went out to do her laundry?
I don't know.
We got second
Where were
place
you
in the
at
Civil
yesterday?
War, Steven.
At home.
What'd you do at home? Tell me everything you did yesterday. From the time you woke up to the time you went to sleep.
Did you have a cookie, Steven?
I checked the news.
At what time?
Just from the time you woke up to the time you went to sleep, Steven. Tell me what you did. 45 seconds of silence. I checked the news. What?
What time,
I
Steven?
don't remember.
Was it yesterday morning?
I don't remember.
Did you
What'd
wake
you do
up
when you
at all,
woke up?
Steven?
I think I checked the news.
All right, you checked the news, okay?
Then what?
What'd you do after that?
They're like a
watched
foot
some videos
apart. Their
online.
faces are like a foot apart, and I cannot
up?
handle it.
Yeah, like where like the fat detective was like, you know what? I'm gonna back up. That's a little too much for me. Red shirt, he's like, fucking look right here, Steven. He's like, laser focus. This is the immovable object versus the irresistible force.
He's still asleep
I-
right now. This is Fantastic
Gone.
Planet.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
No.
You always gonna lose.
You smell
Always
like you've been
gonna
cleaning
lose.
up, like you've been using cleaner to clean up.
Oh, here we
I
go.
know
Oh
what
my
that
god.
smells like. My wife smells like that all the time when she cleans the house.
You know how women do housework, Steven?
Women.
Women, am I right, Steven?
I don't do
Well,
that
my wife
shit,
smells
Steven.
like cleaning, Steven. That's what I know she's doing her job, Steven. But you smell like cleaning material, Steven. You woman, Steven? You got a vagina, Steven?
Damn it, Steven. I think I'm falling for you.
You've been
God
using some
damn it,
kind of
Steven.
cleaner to clean up your apartment, hadn't you?
That's fucking vacant eyes and that
You know,
fluffy ass hair.
Allison, thank you. I was like staring at this shirt. I'm like, that shirt is not red. That is pink.
Listen,
That is a pink ass shirt. Red shirt was Scott.
he's known
pink
as
is
Red
him.
Shirt on the internet.
This looks pretty pink.
Okay, a couple of things here. Number one, it's
Lighting.
2011, so the resolution is like 480p. Number two, the color palette of this terrible image sensor is off by about 1,000,000 degrees. And three, this guy's not going to wear a pink shirt. Look at him. You think it's a pink shirt?
Look at those sideburns. He ain't wearing a pink
Come on,
shirt.
guys. Come on.
Steven, kiss my fucking face, Steven.
Steven, I don't want you looking at that bald detective's head again, Steven. You look at me.
Kiss my face.
Steven,
Get your hair in
you
my
telling me you
face.
live like a
Barbie's
man.
Corvette.
How does your apartment get cleaned?
I clean it.
Okay.
I clean
When was the last time you cleaned it,
it.
Steven?
Ooh, here we go.
I don't remember.
Was it this week?
No.
You mean you go a whole week without cleaning?
Yes.
Why?
Our first wow.
Why?
We made it. 35
end.
minutes and 2 seconds in. Wow.
See you next week,
We
everybody.
broke the seal. Good night, everybody. Just kidding.
That's horrible, Steven. Was it possibly over the weekend last
My wife
weekend?
cleans every day because I tell her to,
It
Steven.
wasn't?
Get yourself a woman, Steven. She'll clean. She's fucking bred
But
into
don't
her.
kill her, Steven.
Don't kill your wife, Steven.
Make her clean.
She'll bleach your toilet, Steven.
Maybe make a sandwich sometimes.
If you can't remember, then how is it that you can tell me that you didn't clean up your apartment last weekend? A minute ago you couldn't remember.
It's not
I don't
I
remember.
don't
super
know.
important.
This weekend.
So it isn't that you didn't, it's that you just don't remember,
Yes.
right?
I don't know.
Help me out, buddy.
We're
Right.
friends.
This detective reminds me of
Don't understand.
the SVU detective, the guy that didn't sleep. What the hell was his name? He was like
Oh.
Munch's. He became like
Yeah, he took over for Finn when he got like shot or whatever.
yeah. Was he Indian or
Yeah,
Native
he
American?
was
I should
a
say.
Native American guy. Oh, shit.
I can't remember his name, but he reminds me of him.
Really?
Just like in his, maybe it was just his acting, his mannerisms, and being just like very upfront about a lot of things.
No,
in
because
the,
like he was so reserved, and this guy's like, "Why, Steven?" Like I can't imagine seeing. Oh God, and I can't pull his name. But no, I don't.
I can't remember his
see
name
it.
either.
I disagree.
Night
Understand?
from my clan rally.
Steven, the Grand Wizard's gonna be pissed, Steven.
I don't know how else to say it, Steven.
Look how flat the
tell you
top of
what
his
I
hair
think.
is, though.
I think that she was a friend of yours.
You think
Look
that?
at her right here.
Jenny was a friend of mine.
I think that she was a friend of yours. And I think something happened, Steven.
Yeah. Understatement. Something.
You used to watch her come in and out of her apartment, didn't you?
Wait, did he call her Jenny?
No.
No, I was referencing a song.
I mean, then how were y'all friends? If me and you friends, we live next door to each other. Every time I look out the window, I see, oh, there's my buddy going in. Because we're friends. I'm gonna pay attention to when you come in and out. Didn't you just tell me that y'all were friends?
Yes.
But you didn't pay attention to when she came in and out?
No.
Steven, you're lying. Now you're lying.
What's up with that?
You're just lying. That's a lie. You ever see her come in and out of her apartment?
Yes.
You did? When was the last time?
2
or 3 weeks ago.
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Like last week, maybe?
I mean, realistically, if you're in your apartment, how can you see somebody leave their apartment? Like,
that's the thing that I don't know. Like, if you live in an apartment, there are a lot of variables. Like, your
Other
walls could be
noises?
paper thin. You could be spending a lot of time in a room where a window looks out on the place in question. Like, that's a lot of domiciles packed into one spot. So I would be more inclined to believe someone in an apartment. Because, like, again, Sarah Boone, like, all her neighbors knew her. They wouldn't let her use their toilet, but they knew her. I think it's just a different situation in apartment living versus house living.
Mm-hmm.
Think so.
You don't think so? Stephen, you understand that everything that you're saying here doesn't make any sense at all. None. You totally contradict everything that relates to human behavior.
He's right.
We have skills to be...
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is he here voluntarily, or was he taken in and is not allowed to leave? Because when we start this, they didn't tell him any of the things like the Mirandas or anything.
I don't know the exact circumstances of this. Since my gut is telling me,
take it in.
I think at this point, yeah. I think the first one was in
An interview.
And yeah, it was involuntary. It was a voluntary interview, the first one, where he was acting like a human that they keep referencing.
And they were at his apartment.
Yeah. No, they were here.
The bald guy was at an apartment with him.
No, that too. But there's also footage of him in a room a lot like this.
Okay.
And this is an involuntary interview, so that's probably why he's acting like, like.
Matt says, Steven, I ain't gonna lie, your hair smells like hot dog water, and that's making me weak at the knees.
Yeah, you think let's just like bring him back to his childhood. He's like boiling up a few ballparks on the stove. And seriously, like
I hate that smell. David used to do that.
Hot dog water gets a bad rep for a couple of reasons. Because if you're poor, you're going to buy cheap hot dogs, and you're probably not going to own a grill, right? And we've all been poor at one point, so we all know what like cheap hot dog water smells like. But if you've got a Butcher Box, you've got a Nathan's, you got a Hebrew National, something, kosher, high quality, that hot dog water, you can pour into a fucking champagne glass and drink it like a fine liqueur.
No.
Comparatively.
When I first met David, he used to boil hot dogs. My mom also boiled hot dogs, and I could not.
Bar ass, ballpark, all those fucking garbage dogs, or if they have cheese in the middle, sure. You're going to be left with like what is essentially the water after boiled eggs. It's going to be like scum. It's going to be thick and viscous. There's going to be an oily film over the top. But you invest in you, right? And by that, I mean a package of high quality dogs. That water is nothing to be afraid of, my friends.
The Butcher Box hot dogs are pretty good.
Pull your head out of your ass. But seriously, like boiling hot dogs is only for like it's snowing outside and the grill is under 18 inches of snow, and or it's here in Arizona, it's 120 degrees outside, and I'm not willing to lose 14 gallons of water via my nutsack for a few dogs.
Right.
As good as they may be. Back at it.
To be able to observe things, to hear things, to see things. There are natural things out there that draw our attention every day.
Could you imagine, like instead of Aqua de Toilette, it's Aqua de...
Hot dog?
No, ballpark. You'd have to get like a major cellar, but like hot dog water, right? Ugh. Everybody who makes less than 20 grand a year would wear that shit.
Get out of tubes.
Such as when you're driving down the road and somebody hits the horn, you look around. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's just a natural reaction. If you're sitting in your living room, you hear the door slam next to you, you automatically think, my neighbor's home.
Or
right?
they left. Or
you're telling me that those kind of things don't happen in your life.
You asked if I watched. I didn't watch.
Have you noticed that she's came in and out of our house in the last week or two?
I don't remember.
But like when you're in a hotel room, it's similar in my head to an apartment. You can tune that stuff out. Like if he lives next to a bunch of people, I would tune that stuff out.
Every apartment liver has experienced that because like while looking for places to live, I've looked at apartments, lived in one, and like the stereotypes are true. Like you can hear everything that goes on above or below you, and the walls are paper thin. So whether you want to or not, you know when the people around you are active.
Right.
But
unless
I don't
tune it out.
think that he shares a wall or anything like that with Lauren. But I don't know for sure. In my head, they are separated via a void of something filled by air, but I could be wrong, and maybe they share a wall, but I don't think so.
You remember, Steve?
The last time I saw her was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Where at?
She was going out running when I was coming in.
Where were you coming in from?
Bar preparation.
Bar preparation? What's a bar preparation? Oh, you're preparing for the bar exam?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Are you a bartender, Steven?
Well, how y'all doing?
What's going on?
Do I think he blinks? Only when absolutely necessary. Like, I don't think he's going to not physically, but like proactively blink as a stress response. I think his eyes will get so dry that they'll send a signal to his brain to be like, blink, stupid. And he'll be like, I think it'll be an audible crunching sound.
Allison doesn't think he has eyelids. I think he blinks when the detective looks away.
Or at the very, like...
Or blinks himself.
Yeah, like if you were going to program a system to be the most cost efficient, right? Like if you got a big pool of something that develops scum over the surface.
Like hot dog water.
Like hot dog water. And you build a robot with a big arm to come and scrape the scum off. Like his blinking is attuned to an engineer being like, what is the least acceptable maintenance possible? And that's Steven. Like his eyes are like fucking front yard gravel before he's like
It's like a Ren and Stimpy cartoon where they have to blink their eyes and they've got like
hot dog water eye drops. It's like, oh, I feel refreshed and ready for a baseball game.
I seem to remember a whole lot. Everything's yes or no, or I don't remember.
Red pink shirt, can I have my
chair back? A lot of things aren't making any sense. I gotta be honest with you, Steven. Me personally, I don't feel like you're being honest.
Nobody does, Steven.
Okay.
Well, Steven, you said you're gonna help me out, right?
No.
With this investigation, because we needed your help. We're asking you for help, right? That's what we. Remember, I told you that.
Yes.
And you told me you're gonna help me.
Yes.
Right? You're gonna help me find Lauren, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I guarantee that's why he left, right? Like, Allison, he left because he's like, you know what? Maybe if I leave, Red Shirt will float into this seat. I don't have to sit so close. As soon as he saw him float over, he was like, thank God.
Coming in.
I'm going to hit the head, take a wicked enlarged prostate piss, maybe hit the coffee machine and head back in.
Grab a hot dog.
See what's going on. Maybe nuke a Hot Pocket for meat and cheese.
Ask for your opinion, your observation.
Ask
what
for
happened,
help. We arrested you, Steve. Will you help me?
Right. And what did you tell me?
I thought someone snatched her.
Right.
Right.
Kevin.
Where do you think someone might have snatched her from?
The street.
If you're the detective, you're the police detective. It's your investigation.
Let's
Where would
flip
you
the
start
switch
your
here. Say I'm the one who did it, Steven.
I don't know.
This is like detective, and not that these are similar in skill level or whatever. It's just a fun example for you. But like detective and attorney is like mechanic and car salesman, right? They'll both work at the dealership. But if my manager, when I was selling cars, walked up to me and was like, hey, this 2011 Ford Edge blew a piston and now the cylinder's fucked, what do? I would go like, I don't know, it's like 0.9% APR for the next 90 days if you act fast. Like, I don't know. But like, since they both work at the same dealership, or in this case, law enforcement, I don't think that it's applicable.
Good night, Decon.
Adios.
Matt says the real heroes are those chairs the detectives are sitting in.
Oh, for sure. Like, the only reason the one chair isn't screaming anymore is because the red shirt has like at least 1.5 bills lighter in the loafers than Detective
and better hair.
Detective Patterson.
Come on now.
He drops that bowl of chili. Oh
Watch
yeah, when
TV,
Kevin
right?
from The Office dropped the bowl of chili.
You made it through college, right?
Yes.
My
You made
favorite
it
is
just
Jim and
about through
Pam.
law school, right?
Yes.
So you should know, where would you start your investigation?
Where she was
Somewhere
last seen.
else.
Okay.
So the
So
apartment.
in this case, where was she last seen?
I don't know.
At Garen's house.
Garen.
Who the fuck's
That's the
that?
guy that lives up on the street, right? Friend of hers?
Guy lives upon the street.
All right, and that was on, I think she left there on Saturday morning.
P.S. Like super covert, you guys. Wink, wink, right?
Yes.
Am I right? Okay. Now, where do you think she went from their house?
I don't know.
All right, you're the detective now, right?
I'm a
It's
lawyer.
your case. What would you do?
Check at her home.
Okay. We did that.
What if there was a fucking weirdo who lived right next door who collected Bud K knives and had 3 bottom bargain basement high point guns? what about that, Steven?
That's what we did today, right?
Yes.
So you saw us out there when we knocked on your door. She's not there. I need your help in finding her. What do we need to do? What do we need to do that we haven't done?
Find the killer.
You don't know? So if you had this case, you wouldn't be able to solve it. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not a
Smart
detective.
enough to solve it.
I don't know.
Or you think you're smart enough to be a detective?
I don't know.
No, he's not. Number one, no, he's not.
No.
But the thing is, like, if he was going to be a prosecuting attorney, he would be delivered all this shit.
Right.
Like, only in SVU does the DA come out to the crime scene to be like, I'm taking charge and I'm a no-nonsense bitch. I'm Casey Novak or whatever. Like, by and large, they're like, well, I don't fucking, you do your job, I'll do mine, and the world will keep turning.
No.
You gotta be killing me, Steven.
You gotta be killing me.
Steven.
Steven.
So.
Wow.
Steven, listen to me. We're real people, and we're here to talk to you.
We're real people.
I like to think that we're friends.
I love this salt of the earth bullshit. We don't get it ever fucking ever.
I like to think that we're friends. Why?
Well, like, that's the thing. It's this salt of the earth, Southern hospitality bullshit where, like, it's just like, come on, man. Like, because it appeals to me. I often am like, why not appeal to the human side of the humans that you're talking to instead of being like, I love technology, or, you know, you seem like a guy who knows how to blah, blah, blah. Let's just level each other, be salt of the earth, and be like, from one human to another, help me out here. It's just sad. Again, the only example we have is like trying to knock down a brick wall with like handful after handful of like Nickelodeon gack.
Right. I think he did. I feel like he also laughed. Because Allison said he chuckled from exhaustion.
Right. They're both like
delirious,
drunk from the exhaustion, but also the absurdity of the situation.
Yeah.
Where you've got this like nightmarish ghoul fresh from the crypt sitting in broad daylight being like, I don't know, where like not 14 minutes before he was skulking around a Twilight graveyard like sucking the mold off of gravestones.
Do you know what his verdict was?
Guilty?
But Allison wants to know if he got insanity.
No, he did not get insanity. He has appealed multiple times to no avail. But yeah, like the case was, I want to say, a slam dunk.
Life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 30 years.
Yeah, so it wasn't. That's the thing. When he got into his lawyer mentality and got into court and got a ponytail and then got his like Skid Row haircut, it was all or nothing, and he couldn't pull the insanity card. Like, that was a tactic he used for this interview and this interview alone.
Okay? Friends communicate back and forth. The only thing you said is yes and no, and I don't know. Okay? It makes me feel like you're treating me like you don't like me. And I feel like I've looked out for you today. Everything you said you wanted, I've given you. I've tried to give you food several times. You know, I feel like we talked. You told me about how you like to look at porn on the internet.
I mean, if you're in the Discord, you saw the melding that AI gave me of Stephen McDaniels and Beetlejuice.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at that Beetlejuice inspired image, it doesn't seem too far from the truth, right? Like, when you see, okay, he has a zillion rolls of toilet paper. He's got 14,000 cans of SpaghettiOs for the apocalypse. He's got plenty of Bud K knives and cheap guns. It's not that far off the path we've already beaten to think that he smears chicken blood on his face or some other goofy shit where he goes like, you know, he's praying to Baal or he's asking Baron Samedi to like deliver Lauren to him, right? It doesn't seem that crazy.
The picture is still haunting Allison's psyche.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, possibility
you
for up
expressed
to
me that
30
you're a
years.
virgin, correct?
Yes.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff you tell friends. You know what I'm saying?
Hello.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
We need to know where your other car is at. I already know you own another car, okay?
I don't own another
Yes,
car.
you do.
Do you use another car?
You
Whose
have
car do you
another
use?
car. It's not in your
I
name.
use mine.
No,
No, you don't, Steve.
you've been using somebody else's car.
No.
Everyone I interviewed today say you have another car. These people aren't making this up. You have another vehicle.
Okay, this reference has come up before, but it finally struck me. I was like, where do I know this? It's like if Stewart from Family Guy was hit in the neck with like a curare dart.
I mean, Stewie?
Stewart. So instead of like, no, and like, I want to, it's just like he's hitting the neck with a dart. So we went from like 120 beats per second to like 30 or 20. And so he's like, no, I don't want to. Like if Steven found a a Twinkie or a Hostess snack cake of any kind, I guarantee he'd be like smashing into his face like a raccoon at like 1/4 speed. Look what I can do as he's murdering Lauren and smashing a Hostess fucking snowball into his mouth. Fucking monster.
No,
I can do.
So your grandfather's a liar. Is that what you're saying? You're calling your grandfather a liar. I just talked to him. And he said you own another car.
I don't.
So he's lied to me.
Steven, we're telling way too many lies in here.
So you're telling me they're lying?
You're willing to tell me that you're a virgin and that you told me you jack off the porn on the internet, but you don't want to admit to having another car. That makes me think you got something to hide, Steven. That concerns me. You tell me things that most people wouldn't tell somebody else, but yet you lie about something simple.
Why are you
about
trying to
having
hide
another
that
car.
you have another car? What's the big deal?
I don't have.
I got 3 cars.
You do.
I got 3 cars, David. I got the thing I drive to work. I got my fucking rock crawler Jeep, which I only pull out on the weekends when the weather permits. And I got my fucking cherry ass 76 Camaro.
That stays in the garage.
Hello, metal flake blue interior, metal flake blue exterior, metal flake blue upholstery, you motherfucker.
That
I
shit
got
don't go
3
anywhere.
of these motherfuckers. You can't tell me you got a Geoprism and something else. I told you about my sweet ass Camaro, Steven. I opened up to you. We're friends. Big block. Fuck.
You do.
No, I don't.
It's not at your
Well, what
house.
happened to it?
I've never had another car.
That's the only car you ever had in Macon.
Yes.
Okay, let me go talk to him again, because that's not what he's saying.
Just take a big old slug of my fucking El Pollo Loco drink here. Fucking, you like that Triple X vitamin water, Steven? Gets me amped up. Juiced for the day. Brothers.
Steven.
Wow.
What happened to Lauren?
Let me get real close to
Yeah. You like her, don't you?
She's my friend.
Did you ever think about having sex with
Ooh,
her?
here we go.
No.
You never tried to talk to her on a dating level?
No.
Let me go talk. They got.
you. Let me go call the grandfather.
Real quick. Fuck off, old detective. But there are 2, like, I don't know if you want to call them acts or high points or whatever. There's 2 big elements of this interrogation. That's cleaning the apartment. We get the why, Steven. And what we're about to walk into it. I don't want to spoil it, but we'll get into it.
I got his grandfather. Let me go talk, make sure that he owns another car.
Slurp.
Because he tells
You're a
us he
fucking
doesn't.
liar.
I'm gonna leave my soda here.
Slurpee.
Fucking idiot.
You're right.
So you're
Steven.
telling me, you see that pretty girl right there?
Yes.
You telling me you looked at a pretty girl like that and you never once thought, ever, man, she looks good.
Bam, there it is. The second part of this is the appeal to his manhood, where it's like this vague and nebulous, like, you never look at a pretty girl, Steven, and think to yourself, like, damn, she looking good. Like, what a G-rated instance to be like, hey, you're another man. You ever look at a sexy girl who's dressed seductively and think the mild thought of like, oh, what a pleasant image.
This is nice.
Lay some pipes, Steven.
You never thought that?
You never want to take some fucking cutters and like
I don't
copper up that shit?
What do you mean you don't understand? You know how when you're sitting there, you see a girl walking down the road,
No.
and you say, man, that girl looks good. You ever
Fucking hilarious. You ever see a girl down the road, you say that looks good, Steven? You ever say that, Steven? No.
I don't know.
I don't know. What are the women?
see a good looking girl down the road, you think to yourself, man, that girl looks good.
Yes.
You never thought that about her?
Yes.
So you mean to tell me you look at porn on the internet?
But you don't beat it to your next door neighbors? Be real, Steven.
Why, Steven?
We've all burned it down to a close neighbor at one point or another. I got 3 neighbors I burned it to, Steven. Tell me, Steven.
Why?
Why?
And get
Steven?
off to that, but You never looked at her and said, man, I wonder what it'd be like to have sex with her?
Yes.
You have?
No.
Look at the fade he's got on those jeans.
Real quick, did you hear that? You ever want to try that? Yes. No. Still Lauren. Look at him. He can't understand what just happened.
He
Look at
doesn't
him.
know
The
what
look
happened.
on this face right here. In 2011 low res is like, I can't believe what I just fucking heard. And if this is your first time hearing it too, maybe you have the same face. But the yes, hot on the heels, less than a second later of the no, I feel him. I feel this detective.
I'm partially waiting for the detective to look up at the camera and be like a huh?
Right. His head hits
Like
the
a big
table with an
brother.
audible thud at one point.
Have you ever thought about what it would be like to have sex with Lauren?
No.
You've never imagined having sex with
Bullshit.
Lauren?
No.
Have you ever had sex with Lauren?
No.
Really quick, to the men in the audience, because I don't know what ladies, this is just stereotypical dude talking. I don't think I've ever met a female where, at least involuntarily, the idea of us coupling sexually flashed through my mind for a second. I don't even think, you don't even have to do it willfully. It's just a part of your brain that evolution has left there, that is constantly on, that is scanning your environment to be like, viable couple for genetic offspring, yes or no? Failing that, would it be fun? And then the idea dissipates.
I believe that goes for women also.
All right. But that women don't talk about it. Now, locker room talk I've heard.
Women don't talk about it with other men.
Right, but like dudes will talk about it with anybody. So that's the thing. I feel like that maybe just be a human thing where everybody you come in contact with, even if you don't intend on pursuing it, and it might just be a vestigial lizard brain, like, would this work? If it doesn't happen to you, let me know, because you might not be a human being.
What do you know about
Allison
that body
agrees
we
with
found
me.
today?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I'm also not saying it'll be pleasant 100% of the time.
Right.
Because you might.
No. Yes. But you might not remember the ones that are not pleasant.
Right. And
it just happens so fast.
There are some caveats here. Like, there are ages that fall off of the spectrum.
Right. It's your level of everything.
I don't want to paint the brush like we're all walking around being like, what if I, to everybody.
This 86-year-old man.
Right,
Oh.
like, there's an acceptable, unless you're a weirdo or a pervert, there's an acceptable range where you go, what if? But like, certain ages, you're going to identify with them as someone you do not see sexually,
Correct.
i.e. a child, family member,
Right.
or like a grandparent.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't say that for everybody, and there's enough people, crime exists.
Looking for age, smoke-free boyfriend, free girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm looking for an of age, cisgendered, alive, non-related. Is that all of them?
Yes.
Goth girl.
Please tell me the Chris Chan reference.
Oh no, he was looking for a boyfriend-free girl.
Boyfriend-free girl. Yes.
Yeah. Chris Chan was looking for a boyfriend-free girl because he had noviophobia, whereas King Cobra JFS goes alive, cisgendered, non-related, of age, consenting.
Consenting. Yes.
Bingo.
Female.
It's the you got the deadly 6 and then I think the positive 5.
Yeah.
What if I told you
It's free real estate.
that I believe that you do know?
What if I told you that,
What
Steven?
if I told you that I could prove it?
I don't know.
You don't know? Is there a chance? But you do admit that there's a chance.
Speaking of Chris Chan, I'm sure that Stephen McDaniels here is sad that he could not find a true and honest sweetheart. And that he had
You
to
mean
turn out to be
Christine now? Is she Christine now still?
Chris. You could shorten Christine, Christian, or Christopher to Chris. Everybody just calls them Chris Chan, although most people have reverted back to the male pronoun. Because I, along with a bunch of other people, feel like the transition was a troll scheme. Just me.
I think we need to have Allison on the show.
You want to talk about King Cobra? That's what's up. That is most definitely what is up, my dude. Well,
Lady dude.
We'll get a drink combo.
Yeah, we'll get a sweet drink combo.
We'll talk about everything in the Walnut Grove.
Liquid Chris is my personal favorite Chris.
No, don't tell me that. I fucking hate Liquid Chris.
Yeah.
I think he was a fucking hack. Whatever. I'm mostly angry that Liquid Chris, quote unquote, reared his or someone's head during the Cyrax saga because he was supposed to be the next Chris Chan. I'm not necessarily against Liquid Chris, the original, because he was a funny troll that did his piece and then left. But this other slapdash hack asshole who's like, I'm the Liquid Chris from before, my true and honest to Ian Brandon Anderson. No, bitch, you're not. Unless you went through wild reconstructive surgery to look uglier, you're not the real Liquid Chris.
Allison, I will get with you as producer and get your ass on the show if you're serious about wanting to talk about Cobra.
Yeah, King Cobra JFS is one of those ones where here's how I'll liken him. There are two types of lolcows in my view. You have the King Cobra JFS, who are like the low energy, low effort troll sort of stuff, where like he never really gets angry, but he goes like, "Oh, my trolls," and I don't listen to my trolls, but he talks about the trolls constantly. Or you got the Cyrax, who directly yells and engages. And the art around Cobra is better than the art around Cyrax because Cyrax has more in the entertainment
I cannot. I would much rather. I could sit and watch King Cobra a lot more than I could watch Cyrax. I cannot.
You have to have
handle Cyrax.
You have to have a filter for Cyrax to be like, okay, I'm checking in with the tone and pitch of the voice, but not necessarily the words. Whereas like Cobra is so slow and so addle-brained from all the duster and the booze. It's like
possibly have evidence to show that you do have something to do with that body, correct?
Possibly.
I don't know.
You don't know?
You gotta know, David.
Because if I hadn't done anything, I'd say, nope, there's no way. But you say you don't know. Why is that? Why do you say you don't know? Is there a chance that maybe...
You haven't heard about the new Liquid Chris? Not that it's worthwhile. Like I said, it's an imposter. There was a bunch of like, oh, the Liquid Chris is back. Oh my God. Bullshit. Like anybody can buy a fucking yellow and brown rugby and make a paper medallion. Dude's face was not Liquid Chris.
Maybe something's there?
No.
Why did you say...
Oh, you saw the troll gifts. Oh my God. The glitter bombs alone are worth the price of admission for King Cobra JFS. And welcome back for a second time, DK.
You don't know.
Someone couldn't sleep.
Because you're worried about something, maybe something that happened.
Too many chickens.
That maybe something got mixed up with something and you're worried about that?
No.
Then why do you say I don't know?
Because I don't know.
Liar. You're a liar.
How would you not know? If I was asking you, did you just rob a bank? If you didn't, you'd say no, not I don't know, right?
Right.
So why do you say I don't know?
Because I don't know.
You don't know if you had anything to do with that body?
I didn't.
But,
you didn't?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
What if I said I could prove that you did?
I don't know.
I'm proud of us.
Well, just really quick, now that we're on the tail end of the second of the three scoops of the Baskin-Robbins bullshit that you got a little taste of with the scoop at the beginning, how does it feel now, right? Let's stick to your stomach. You don't want to hear I don't know, yes or no ever again.
Right. I'm pretty proud of us for getting through 48 minutes almost of real footage.
I'm just glad we made it to red shirt. But here's the thing. Since there's so much... This is an interrogation in which they are really employing silence But this is added to the list of things where, like, in any other interrogation, I would welcome all of these tactics, and it would probably be like a fucking layup and a slam dunk. Silence is used perfectly. The human aspect, the fact that we know things, the dropping of sensitive material, the rapport. If we weren't talking to a paper cutout of a human caricature, it would be really intriguing.
Yeah.
Yeah, what does that sound, Deacon?
Could you explain it?
I don't know.
Is it the little drummer boy? Do you hear what I
Today
hear?
you told an investigator that you were worried about us possibly finding blood in your apartment, didn't you?
I don't remember.
You did. Now why would you be worried about that?
We all looked in Lauren's apartment.
Did you see blood?
No.
Then what would make you think that there was blood taken over there?
God damn it. Fucking, like, competent question after competent question, which I'm usually begging for. And this is the illustrator of, like, why people don't ask them oftentimes. Because even if we did get them more often than not, we would get Steven answers. As much as I want our interrogators to act like humans and appeal to the human side of these individuals, when it does happen, it just highlights the fact that there's no humanity in this husk.
Yeah.
It's like a tamale, but when you unwrap it, it's like newspaper. Like the corn was there, it smells of masa. You go like, oh, I wonder if it's beef or pork, and you open it up and it's like paper mache. The presentation was there, but it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Nothing would make you think that unless you saw it. Because, see, I didn't see no blood. None of the other Lawrence friends saw blood, but I know now that blood was there. And now I believe you saw it.
Uh-huh.
You saw that blood. You know that blood was there.
Oh, tell them about
and
that.
that's why you're worried about it.
No.
Did you know? Why do you have blood up in the inside of your nose?
I don't know.
You know.
Just stare longingly in each other's eyes.
But, like, seriously, though, like, the underwear question felt big, like, in the moment, right? But when compared to the question, why was there blood in your nose? And, like, especially, like, if it wasn't yours, like, that's something that shouldn't be glossed over. Like, the underwear thing, I get. Like,
People have weird...
Some people are freaks. But having someone else's blood in your nose, like, that's something I would find hard to tiptoe around.
Yeah.
You don't know? But you saw that blood. That's the only way that you would be worried about it. Because that's like saying, I'm worried about red roses being under my pillow, but yet I never put them there. That doesn't make...
Here's the thing. I really identify with people who are bad at metaphors because I wasn't always good at them. Keep trying. That's all I can say. Practice makes perfect. But that was really fucking terrible.
Make any sense. You know, your brain...
There's thong on his face like his... Yeah.
It's his Bane mask.
Yeah, that's what Steven did. Steven. I'm sure whatever...
There were holes in the eyes, so they weren't a thong. It was regular underwear.
We don't know for sure because if I can... it is easy to make a case like they weren't a thong type because he had to cut holes in it. But if he slides like the part that goes through your legs over to the side of his neck and wears it so like the square that goes over the crotch is here and he pulls it up and it's wide enough, he could hypothetically cut eye holes and maybe a tiny mouthful for a straw to drink orange juice. Ticon's going to bed for a third time. Hopefully this one takes.
Ticon.
He doesn't even think to operate like that unless you knew something was there. Does that make sense?
No.
That makes sense to you. You're a smart guy, right?
I don't know.
Understand.
I don't understand.
Wake up, Snap.
You knew that there was blood in that apartment.
No.
Yes, you did, Stephen.
Granny panties.
Yes, you did.
Right?
Oh yeah, maybe. Like, but that's the thing.
Boy shorts, maybe?
Let me ask you this. If you're a sex pervert, what is more appealing to you, right? Like, if you're Steven, and you go, wow, Steven, and you break into Lauren's apartment and steal underwear, what is more covetous to you? The sexy small stuff or the big granny panties?
The granny panty period underwear.
Right. Because the granny panties are going to have more square footage and also be worn at more intimate times, so you're going to have more personal essence. Whereas, like, Steven can get all horned up over the shiny blue thong. It's 3 square inches of material. Whereas, like, if he gets a pair of granny panties and, like, they're the boy shorts kind, he could go, like, from nipples to above the head and just live in an underwear wonderland. I mean, in a perfect world, it would smell like SpaghettiOs, right?
Yeah.
It's more like mac and cheese.
There's blood in your apartment, Stephen. That's right. There's blood in your apartment. Stephen, this is hard, buddy.
It's hard.
I know this is hard. And I can tell it's on you. You want to let it go.
Look at him. So remember what I said earlier? He's like a fucking spring-loaded torso from a Spirit Megastore. Like, it's as if he activated his shock absorbers when he touched him. Do you see that? He's like, hey. Like, you can almost hear the creaking of the springs.
There's blood in your apartment, Stephen. You didn't get it all up.
You
It
scrubbed
didn't all
and
come
you
off.
wiped.
You scrubbed and you wiped.
Another one of my favorites. You scrubbed and you wiped what you could. The hair is there. We're getting there. Oh, we're so close.
But we can tell that. Don't you watch CSI?
No, I'm not 90.
Yeah, we know it.
Sorry, it's 2011. I'm not 78.
Stephen.
He's like the slugs in Cars.
No, I think what Allison is referring to is the demon that lived in the head of MTV fame in their golden age of animation, along with Eon Flux and the Max, right? I mean, probably not.
Why is there blood in your bathroom?
Why, Steven?
I don't know.
Yes, you do know. Why, Stephen?
Wow.
Has anybody else been in your bathroom?
Anybody else
police were
murdered
in
someone in your
there.
bed?
Other than the police. Who else has been in there?
Nailed it. Thank you, Allison.
No one that I know.
No one. And you recently cleaned your bathroom, didn't you?
No.
How long ago?
I don't remember.
A couple days ago?
No.
Over the weekend?
No.
No, you don't know.
I don't remember cleaning it.
Do you use drugs?
No.
You ever use acid?
No.
Are you on medication?
No.
You fucking huffing paint, Steven? You sniffing glue? Are you fucking inhaling duster? Like, give me something here, Steven. Like, this isn't normal human behavior. I don't know what to do.
You're lying, Stephen.
You ever take any duster?
I wanted to give you an
You ever
opportunity
huff duster,
to tell me.
Steven? Take Special K? You ever get high on that horse tranquilizer, Steven, and fuck a stranger? You ever do that, Steven?
I wanted to be here with you to go through that process because I know you're not a monster, man.
Should have played
I know
bingo.
you're not a bad guy. You're just a hard-working student trying to pass a bar exam.
You're sitting there eating cookies, for Christ's sake, Cassandra's Blanc.
Mention. You ain't got a lot of support from your family, do you?
Yes.
You do?
My grandfather gave me that second car. Duh,
but it's
people
not in
can't
my
say
name,
that.
so it's not mine.
And the fact that you do have support from your family should make things easier. Because your family wants to feel like they've raised somebody that tells the truth and is honest, right?
Yes.
Probably.
Did you hurt that girl, Stephen?
No.
Have you ever hurt anyone, Stephen?
No.
Emotionally. God damn. Just look at him.
I can't.
Look at these.
I'm done
just-
looking at him.
The eye line is unbroken. Like if Stuyven and Detective Redshirt entered like the World Championship staring contest, everyone would leave, the officiants would leave, they'd turn on the cameras, come back within the next couple of days, and there'd be two dried out husks with their lids wide open and two dried out raisins for eyeballs in both of their skulls. Creature feature, yeah.
Never hurt anyone.
No.
I've hurt people, Stephen.
You believe that?
I've made mistakes in my life.
I am back.
Even
Your
normal say you've never
grandfather
hurt
said.
anybody. Sometimes people get mad and they say things they don't mean to say. It hurts. You never kicked a dog or a cat?
No.
You ever hurt the kids that live up there with your parents?
Just slides the
Hey,
fuck in and just
welcome
like
back.
that. I think this is a more.
These
And
guys
the-
have worked together before.
Well, not only that, but I'm just like the fact that they're able to move in and out of this room without having to reestablish anything is an interesting tactic, because oftentimes when in situations like this where one of them leaves the room, one of the detectives leaves the room, they come back to tip their hand and say, hey, I was doing this or I was doing that. But every time these dudes leave, they come back and they go, okay, well, and they just...
Like they weren't gone.
Right. It's like... This is a stupid analogy, but here it is. So you got a pipe, right? And there's water moving through the pipe, the same speed as a fish. These detectives are like those two fish in that pipe, and it's clear. They pull it out. They don't stop flapping their tail. As soon as they're back in that water, they are at the exact right speed, and they lose no steps. It's just mind-boggling that they can do that, because most of the time they have to come in and be like, okay, well, where are we? And I was blah, blah, blah. It's just like slide in like a duck into a pond.
I wonder if they have, you know, like at SVU,
You
they
love
have the
those kids.
window.
No, I guarantee if they don't have a window, they've got a room where this is being broadcast.
Don't you?
Yes.
Okay.
But what's he going to lose?
If
It's
something
like,
happened to one of those kids, you'd be upset, right?
Yes.
Grandpa.
Well, something happened to this lady's child, Lauren. Okay? You love all the kids up there with your mama, right?
Yes.
And you do anything for them, right?
Yes.
I mean, they called you and said, hey, we need you. Help us out. You'd help them out, right?
Yes.
We need you to help us out. Okay?
Hey, Steven, not to belabor the point. Remember like 52 minutes ago when I asked you the same question, if you give me some help? Where are we in that situation? I realize it's almost been an hour and you haven't moved a fucking muscle. But I just like to remind you we're friends and I thought you would help me. Thoughts?
Yes, no, or I don't know, Steven.
Tell me about your family
Oh my God.
I have 4 adopted siblings.
that you love very much, right?
What a weird family he has.
What
Yeah.
about your mama?
She's a homemaker.
Okay. What about your daddy?
He's a painter.
Close family? Y'all close?
Yes.
When was the last time you talked to him?
I'm gonna go.
When we got together.
See you later.
When was that?
Time to give this chair a little more punishment because I don't think it's had enough.
A few weeks ago.
Did you go up there to see him, or they come down here to see you?
We went to Buckner's.
I like Buckner's. The chicken place where the table spins
They
around.
got some good chicken.
They got what they call lazy Susan down there, Steven. So if someone's got some chicken you want, you don't have to wait or ask. You can just spin the table and get at that delicious ass fried chicken. Maybe you've seen my girth, but I've been to several fried chicken restaurants. The ones where I don't have to ask to get other people's food are my fucking favorite, Steven.
They got real homemade buttermilk ranch there, Steven.
Yes.
So those biscuits as big as your fucking head, Steven. Fluffy as a pillow there, Steven.
You want to go there, Steve? We can continue this
damn it.
interview
Are you
there.
hungry, Steven? I could really go for some canes. Let's go raise some canes. Let's get some fucking chicken,
Buckners.
Steven.
Buckners.
Jesus, let's get on with the Buckners. Get that table spinning, Steven.
Kids with them.
Wow.
Yes.
We can get some mac and cheese too.
They didn't come back and make it.
No.
Well, they asked you how you was doing in school and everything.
Yes.
You had told Detective Chapman that you've never shot any of those guns that were in your apartment.
Yes.
Have you?
No.
Well, you never went to the shooting range here in Macon and did
No.
some shooting?
No.
Any gun?
No.
If that's true, it's mind-boggling. Like back when I, wanted to own guns, when I bought a gun, my first priority was to like get out to the range or get out into the desert somewhere on like some public land and start shooting some shit. The fact that he can get 3 and not
Ever
find the time to like make it to a range or out on some like BLM land or something, it's just like, what?
Yeah.
Because, like, again, it's like the one-dimensional character. If you want, like, if you legitimately believe the apocalypse is coming, you're going to put your money where your mouth is and go out and shoot that shit, learn how to cook shit in a can, and be a survivalist. If you're just a broke dick little pussy eating, Walmart cheese sauce and macaroni pasta, you're going to collect all these symbols that are hollow facsimiles of what you would actually use and do jack shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we are with Steven as a whole. Like, his collection of everything he owns plus the murder just feels like the lowest effort, incidental, like I did it because it was low-hanging fruit.
Right.
If he had any resolve or drive, he could have a great gun collection, a great knife and or sword collection, and be a competent serial killer until he was caught.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just like, the first pack of baseball cards and I'm a fucking expert kid.
Did you make the mistake and tell people at school that you used to go to the shooting range and shoot?
No.
You've never said that?
No.
Do you even know how to load
Yes.
an SKS? That was an SKS, right?
No.
What was it?
An AK.
Same thing.
Yeah, because the SKS is like the Yugoslavian ripoff of the Russian whatever. But then like whatever. It's like everybody makes the 1911. If once something is good, people steal it.
Mm-hmm.
Taurus lives off of that shit. Like Taurus does not have anything that nobody else has already made. Smith & Wesson mostly.
Just different. You even know how to load it?
Yes.
What kind of rounds it take?
7.62 39.
Okay. What's the capacity of that clip that you had?
30 rounds.
People love their fucking 30-round clips.
Well,
Is it loaded?
the magazine is full.
Okay. You got a round in the chamber?
No.
Why not?
Why not, Steven? Why wouldn't you want that assault rifle locked and loaded and ready to go in case you accidentally fucking bump that trigger, Steven? You seem like a pretty respectable guy.
Safer that way.
Safer? It's just you in the apartment, right?
Yes.
Why do you
But
think it's
still.
safer that way?
Because there isn't a bullet in the chamber.
Right.
Here's if you're not into guns, a bullet can't be in the chamber without the hammer being cocked for most things, unless it's a revolver. But like if it's fed by a clip or a magazine, if there's something in the chamber,
It's ready to go.
it's ready to go. And it's dangerous. You shouldn't, like a policeman shouldn't be like, why don't you have one in the chamber? Because like you wouldn't do that, right? I never did that unless I was, walking around and carrying something that I wouldn't like to find myself being like, 1 sec, clear and breach, check and seat, great. But like at home, I can see why you wouldn't want that because
Any reason.
any reason. Like Steven doesn't seem like the kind of guy who probably has like a gun safe to accommodate these things. Because
Right.
an AK is pretty big and he's probably got a couple.
Probably just in his closet.
Yeah. And the number of people who come into other people's houses, find their unguarded guns and kill the occupants with them, like,
Right.
at the very least, I would be awoken by the sound of the clearing and the loading of the thing before I was shot dead. Instead of just being shot dead, I would at least get to wake up and be like, oh yeah, you found it.
Oh no. Yeah.
No chance of it getting
Good
knocked
on
over
you.
and going off.
I mean, no one lives with you. Just you.
Bullets can travel distance.
Well, how do you know that?
I've read up about it.
How do you know that bullets can go more than 0 feet?
Yeah, if a bullet's fired, you know that it can move? Like if a bullet is fired. Wait, Steven, you're telling me that you have taken such a high-level physics class that you know that if a bullet is fired and that powder combusts in that shell casing behind that slug, it'll move?
Are you sure you're not a police
Steve!
officer, Steven?
Are you Stephen Hawking's in disguise? You're so smart, Stephen.
On what, the computer?
The computer. So you know bullets will travel
your
once they're
pistols?
fired.
You never fired any of those pistols.
No.
What pistol do you have?
Were they loaded tonight?
The magazine is full.
I want to see their
10
high
millimeter.
points.
Okay.
And there's one round in the chamber in 9mm and a full magazine.
Was the 9mm the full size one or the compact one?
Compact.
And you've never even fired any of those weapons?
No.
Where do you buy your ammo? Have you ever purchased any ammo here in Macon?
Yes.
From where?
A to Z guns.
On
and
Vineville, was that on Vineville Avenue?
Yes.
When's the last time you was at A to Z Guns?
Years ago.
When
Do
I
you
bought
have
these ones that I never shot.
Permit?
Yes.
Years ago.
Here in Bibb County?
Yes.
Bip.
Okay. You applied when you was working down at the county or
I
something?
applied last fall.
Okay. So you have your card.
Yes.
Is it with you?
Yes.
Can I see it? They still make you take your fingerprint down there?
Yes.
Let me see your card.
I can't wait to lay my eyes on that fucking beautiful CCW card, Steven. That's what's going to break this case. Did you take a class in which allows you to conceal carry a weapon? Fuck, let me get that card.
The one time he's moved his hands off the table since they told him to put his hands on the table.
What are we doing here? Like, not for nothing. We can say benefit of the doubt, but I'm pretty sure they know at this point that Lauren wasn't shot. The guns were never fired. He strangled her.
Right. Right. And then chopped her up.
And so all of this, like, what? She didn't get, blah, blah.
Maybe they'd want to try and catch him on something else too.
I just want to lay this at the feet of him being such a weirdo that they're like anything, dude. Like they're standing in a bell tower, hitting a bell with a gong, and there's no sound coming out.
Right.
So yeah, you're gonna go to every part of that bell and hit it to see what happens, but somewhere around minute 45 and still no sound, somebody watching you is gonna be like, let's call this a dead horse and we can stop beating it.
Yeah.
How much does it cost now? You remember?
Around $80.
Plus tax.
And tip.
So it expires in 2016.
Yes.
Whatever it says on the card.
You have any pictures of the kids?
No.
Hmm?
No.
They didn't give you no pictures when they were in school? Got a picture of your parents?
No.
You got no pictures?
No.
I
At
have
all.
never had
Not even
pictures
your
of
apartment?
anything of family in like my purse or wallet or whatever.
Well,
in that day.
It's 2011, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. You can have some snapshots of your family and your phone, but it is weird to have none. Like you would have something tangentially. Like on my phone, I've got pictures of everyone I've ever come into contact with, probably because we've been at a party together or whatever.
Oh, I thought he was referring to like in his wallet, like those little like wallet.
That's the thing. I don't know either. Like,
yeah.
It's 2011, so it would be stupid to be like,
sure.
hey, like, what's the photo album of your wallet look like? Because it's, again, no way that exists.
That's why when he said school pictures or whatever of the kids.
Right, and that's I'm thinking like they would be texting him something that would come across like whatever, a flip phone or early smartphone. But if you're checked out of your family, which shouldn't be an indicator, because if you come from a shitty family that you just don't want to see, like that shouldn't be like, oh, guilty. But like,
no,
it does feel like it's being used as like a chip here.
Mm-hmm.
You have some at your apartment?
Some.
What do the kids call you?
Weirdo.
Steven.
Okay, Steven.
So you're just a brother or uncle or
Brother.
Brother Steven. None of them ever come visit you.
He
here,
has
Megan?
adopted
Right,
siblings.
they're adopted siblings.
Not-
Like his parents didn't adopt nephews for him.
Right, unless maybe they're a lot younger, but still, it would still
But
be
then,
siblings.
yeah, it would be like it would have to be his biological sister.
Right.
No.
That's a stupid question, cop.
You just don't give a fuck. He's tired. I get it.
Yeah.
About this car.
Oh God.
When you first moved to Macon, did you have another automobile?
No.
Never.
No.
When you moved to Macon, you brought that Geo Prism with you?
Yes.
You never left a car back there at your mother's?
No.
Why'd you tell everybody at school that you had that other vehicle?
I didn't.
So
It'd be
everyone we
hilarious
talked
if he
to
really
just
didn't
made that
have one
story
and they
up
were thinking of somebody else.
about you.
Which is not out of the realm of possibility. But also, like, the way he's describing it now is like he left it
At his mom's house.
at his mom's house, which is not here.
Not relevant to anything that he's talking about.
Yeah, it's just.
And
why are
4
we-
years ago.
Why are we barking up this tree? Like, if it were the linchpin of the case, like, great. But it's not. Like, the things that broke this were like the hacksaw and the receipt for, the murder kit.
Yeah.
Like, be like, are you sure you've never owned a 1987 Honda Civic? Like, swear on the Bible. Like, it's irrelevant at this point.
Talking about your other vehicle.
I don't have another vehicle.
I swear.
When's the last time you've been to Kroger in Baconsfield?
Ever been to a Publix,
I
Steven?
don't remember.
Okay, 'cause
Free
I asked you
Wi-Fi
that.
there, I hear.
When's the last time you were at Walmart?
I don't remember.
Has it been a long time? Can you even give me that much?
No.
A week or so?
Maybe.
Do you even have a credit card?
Yes.
Which credit card do you use the most?
Visa.
Is it a bank name or just a Visa?
First Financial Bank.
Is that here in Macon?
No.
First Financial. You got a bank account with them?
No.
Well, whose account? They just sent you a Visa? You don't have no bank account?
I have bank
Where are you putting your money? In your house? You putting all your money in your house? With all the food you got in there?
I have an account with Wachovia.
Here in Macon?
Yes.
Do
No, in Anchorage.
you buy your stuff at Walmart with this Visa card?
No.
Oh, how do you usually pay for stuff at Walmart?
With cash.
No, there's no. Sorry. If you're a weirdo, yes. You probably go and pull out cash and make the pain in the ass steps worth your while. So I can't be like, no one would do that. But if you're a weirdo, one-dimensional, apocalyptic prepper, then...
Or you're old.
or you're old, but it's just so stupid because, like, if I were to hypothetically follow his logic here, like, okay, I'm Stiven, I don't want to be traced, so I'll have a bank card, but I'm only going to pay in cash. So what you're only achieving is one more step in getting found out. Because if they say, hey, I use this, like the detectives do, use this card, and now I use cash. So they go, okay, great. If you pay for everything in cash, what we'll do is we'll go to every ATM that your card's been used at and link up the transactions there. Because again, if you were going to a mom and pop shop, maybe we'd have a problem. But the doomsday prepper, I'll use cash so there's no paper trail, is great. Only if you don't shop at Walmart, where every second you're there, anywhere between 6 and 13 cameras are capturing your image.
Right.
So you can pull out that 20 and even spray it with alcohol, formaldehyde, and or hydrogen peroxide to remove every viable piece of you from it. You're in 4K, bitch. Like, your murder kit was purchased under 17 lenses. Whoops.
So
it was cash.
We've been going for 3 hours and we're an hour in. Do we want to do the rest of the hour at another time?
Yeah, we're definitely going to call it for tonight. We never got to the hairs there. Let me know in the comments or reach out on Discord or something if you want to see the second half of this. I feel like we probably got a pretty good read on Stiven. It'd be nice to hear the hair is there, but I'll leave it up to you guys. If you think we should keep going, we will. Otherwise, we'll probably move on to one of the many others I have made thumbnails for. So yeah, let's get this out of here. I would like to, in the future, do some more Chris Hansen related, like Vincent Ambrosio, if we can get that set up, or some corrupt cops like Jaden Fleer or Jeff Palo. I don't know. We'll see what happens. If you want to see more Steven, we could definitely do that. But I mean, do you really want 3 more scoops of this flavor?
I'm probably good, personally.
The pink spoon was enough for most people. Like, not unless you're me, you don't want to sit through all 3 scoops of this plus the whipped cream and the cherry on top. But who knows? So yeah, we'll call it for now. We'll do more next week, and I wish I could tell you what it is, but I don't know.
We don't know.
Here's the thing: if the votes say Ambrosio, but I like to get Salmon on, so that might have to wait for him.
Oh yeah, was he the cowboy? No.
Yeah, he's the New York Cowboy. So we'll see what happens. I know everybody loves the TCAP and beyond Predators, but those are special. I need a little hot sauce on them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to see if I can get Salmon. We'll go somewhere else. Maybe fish sauce. Maybe Palo or Kevin Davis or one of those other monsters. Either way, we'll do something next week. But until then, I appreciate you guys showing up and putting up with all of this. Trying to figure out why with me with Steven. Why, Steven? The hair was there. He didn't say it, but it was. No, it actually wasn't there. It was somewhere else. Anyway, we're out of here, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week for another episode of FFOP Radio. Bye.
Bye.
For the try to
Fistful of Podcasts Radio.